tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham.
Thank you for starting this milestone holiday weekend with us. And if you've been following this show, you might think the official start of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's marriage would be the natural place for us to start this show. But you'd be wrong, because we're actually more interested right this second in the team that calls her wedding venue home. LeBron James' super agent, Rich Paul, was co-hosting a podcast with Max Kellerman this week. And even though he drew 10 potential destinations that his top client could end up at on a whiteboard that's drawing a lot of attention, one team stands out: the New York Knicks. But while it sounds like the Big Apple has captured the King's heart, it doesn't seem like the New York Knicks are all that interested in landing LeBron, if you read between the lines. There really isn't a lot to interpret from Rich Paul's comments. Honestly, how much clearer does it get than this here from Rich Paul, what Rich Paul told Max Kellerman right here?
I think it's difficult, right? Because the last thing you want to do is mess up something like that, right? The Knicks has a good thing going. You know, that'll be... If the Knicks hadn't have won, there would be no board.
He'd be going to the Knicks.
He'd be going to the Knicks.
That's pretty clear. If the Knicks didn't win the title, he would be a member of the New York Knicks. Now, what's that tell you? That tells you that if LeBron had his way, he'd probably want to be a New York Knick. But the New York Knicks won a championship. And while Rich Paul, we could appreciate him saying, well, we don't want to mess with a good thing. Is it possible that the real issue is that the Knicks don't want to mess up a good thing, that it's actually the reverse? Because if we're testing this statement just a little bit, up until this week, LeBron has indicated, people close to LeBron and all the sources, all the newsbreakers and insiders indicated that he wanted to remain a Laker and that he wanted to stay in LA. So when, hypothetically, did LeBron decide he absolutely would be a Knick if they didn't win the title? When did that come into his mind? When did that epiphany appear? Unless, not going to get the conspiracy Josh stuff out just yet, unless this is part of LeBron's messaging strategy. It would make sense that LeBron is using Rich Paul to get the New York Knicks' attention. New York just won a title. They have a ton of distractions. Their starting five, probably their owner, were at the Taylor Swift wedding at the Garden today, because it seems that everybody else was at the Garden as well. So if LeBron wanted to play in New York and you wanted to get the Knicks' attention while they're all still drunk and celebrating the title, what might you do? Well, you might have Rich Paul say it was almost a done deal that he would be a Knick if they didn't win the title, or have this direct of a message to Jalen Brunson. Here's more from Rich Paul.
Jalen Brunson would literally have to pick up the phone and say, hey, man, it's no issue with me. It's no issue with me.
Jalen, balls in your court.
And I'm not saying that would make him make his decision.
But at least it would put him on the table.
Yeah, because you got to respect that.
Have the Knicks called?
Yeah.
Knicks checked in?
They checked in.
Have the Knicks called? Yeah. We keep tabs on the Knicks. Is it possible, or is this just loony bin conspiracy theory, tinfoil cap stuff, to think that this isn't Rich Paul saying Jalen Brunson could do this to land LeBron, but that he should? Is this Rich Paul sending a message to Jalen Brunson what LeBron James wants to happen? Because LeBron, he cares a ton about his legacy. He talks about it all the time. He doesn't want to be framed like Kevin Durant was when he left to go from Oklahoma City to the champion Warriors, or a dominant Warriors team. So he's testing the waters. It doesn't look as bad. It doesn't look like you're air quote ring chasing so much if Jalen Brunson makes it known publicly that they want LeBron James. But the fact that we're at this point and even asking this question, and many of the newsbreakers and insiders and all that are not saying that the Knicks are a front runner in any type of way, it doesn't seem like they are a front runner here. It doesn't seem like they want to mess with their chemistry. It doesn't seem, based on how prominently featured they were on that whiteboard, reading between the lines here, that the Knicks are one of the top teams, and it seems less to do with LeBron's interest and more to do with the Knicks' interest in LeBron, which is fascinating. The breadcrumbs appear to show that LeBron is angling for New York, would love to be in New York. This week, the Knicks didn't re-sign Mitchell Robinson because they were worried about the second apron. And what were many of the reports we saw come out of that? Oh, the Knicks, the types of players that the Knicks are interested in signing are vet minimum guys. And what happened right after that reporting dropped? A breaking news headline from LeBron's camp saying LeBron might be willing to take the vet minimum. It's all right in front of us here. Rich Paul, on the same podcast, made a point to talk about the affinity that LeBron has for playing in New York. Here was Rich Paul one more time.
And once a year since he's been in the Western Conference. But remember, part of his whole thing, even like at Nike with his shoes, he would make a special shoe just for when he played in New York.
Right.
He had the taxis, he had the Big Apples. I remember he debuted the graffitis.
He's got special shoes for New York. He loves New York. All Jalen Brunson would have to do is call and say he wants LeBron to join. LeBron would have been a Knick. It wouldn't even have been a whiteboard if they didn't win the title. Why? Ask yourself, why? Oh, because if the Knicks didn't win, then the Knicks absolutely would be trying to add LeBron James right now. And because they won the title, they aren't super interested in LeBron. It's the other way around. The Knicks they don't want LeBron James because they like the mix they had. They just won the title. They don't want to mess with it. It sounds crazy, but that's what we're looking at right now. That's why LeBron isn't going to end up in New York. It's not because he doesn't want to be in New York. It's probably because New York doesn't want LeBron as much as LeBron wants them. 310-840-4910 if you want in on the program. First caller of the night is Super Rossi Dang. And let's make it a good one since it's Free-for-All Friday where people get to steer the ship in whatever direction they please starting next hour. Super Rossi Day, what did you make of the comments here from Rich Paul and LeBron James?
Hey, what's going on? Make sure you can hear me clearly. If there's any disruptions or distortions, please let me know.
We got you.
Okay.
We got you.
Yes, it's definitely, you said it, Looney Tooney, conspiracy theory, tinfoil, tin hat type of stuff. You said it
Let me
yourself,
grab my conspiracy
bro.
hat. I got it. I'm putting it on my head. I got
Let's-
it.
let's-
Conspiracy.
Let's be
tinfoil
totally
hat. Got it.
Right. Let's be 1,000,000% clear on something. He's LeBron freaking James. Now, will he be maybe a little bit upset because he can't go to the Knicks? That'll pass quickly, bruh. He'll focus on somebody else just as soon as his attention focuses over there on New York. I mean, not New York, but Miami. Talking to Magic Johnson. Magic, Pat Riley in the front office and help me get some super recruits over there. So that's a possibility in Miami. Then he can team with Kyrie. Somehow, some way, he can still team up with Kyrie someplace, somewhere, somehow. In Cleveland, maybe. They might going to be so plentiful. It's so beautiful. There's no reason he's going to sit and say, "Oh, I'm so heartbroken over the New York Knicks." Stop it, bro. He's trying to do.
Hold one second. No one said that. No, hold one second. Nobody said that. Just it doesn't seem that LeBron wants. If LeBron wants to go to New York and New York doesn't want him, that's all we're saying here. That's an interesting thing.
It's a done deal. But guess what? Rich Paul don't speak for LeBron, bro, like that for real.
Sure he does. He's his agent. Sure he does. He's his agent. That's his job.
But he don't make up LeBron James' mind. LeBron James got the final word. Rich Paul works for LeBron.
For sure. That's why we listen to him. Like, what do you think the White House press secretary does? They speak for the president. That's the job. What do you think your agent does? They speak for you.
Only so much and only so far. If you really want to get the real clear answer, you have to get it from the horse's mouth directly.
Sure.
And LeBron James has no problem with telling you how he feels or what he thinks.
Well, we haven't heard from him, so we'll have to hear from Rich Paul and also from Super Rossi Day. Appreciate the call. Another question that we're asking, Denton Day is the producer of this program, by the way, and we've got Oliver Popular just getting ready to go for Free-for-All Friday, starting next hour. D-Day in honor of America 250. We're asking this question this hour. 310-840-4910. What is the correct way to dress a burger or a hot dog? Your response.
No. You got to give me your response first.
No.
Oh.
Asked you first.
Nah, I'm stubborn. Sorry. You're the one leading the ship. It's not Free-for-All Friday. I can't lead yet. You got to lead to start.
No. Then I'm going to do a show host thing and say, I'll tell you in 10 minutes as a tease. How about that?
I guess we'll find out in
Now
10
we're
minutes
doing-
then.
Sports talk lingo here. And we can should have asked Super Rossi Day. 310-840-4910. Missed opportunity there. Shifting things. While it's obviously newsworthy, don't take the Taylor Swift-Travis Kelce wedding too seriously. It's interesting. We talk about it more than any sports show across the country, probably. But it's intended for our entertainment. And here's a good sign that you know that that's the case. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, officially married now. That message being put on a big screen outside of the Garden at around 7 o'clock Eastern time earlier tonight. Just take the secrecy surrounding the event leading up to today. This might honestly, low-key, be the funniest part of this. She made all of her guests sign NDAs before learning where the wedding was going to be. She would not speak about the event anytime in the name of privacy, which is what makes her choosing to have a wedding inside Madison Square Garden while going through the trouble of shutting down streets in Manhattan and getting permits all the more funnier. If you wanted privacy, you escape to a private island and get married or do something without people knowing. Not doing it across the street from Penn Station. Because of the location, the day was a constant drip of super famous people being spotted in New York City, dressed to the nines, and that brings us to the next point. You can't help but laugh at the absurdity of the guest list. You tell me what the most hilarious guest was to you. D-Day, you tell me what the funniest image or report you saw of a guest was. Was it Tony Romo appearing at this wedding? Jim! Or perhaps Mike Vrabel and his wife making an appearance?
I mean, the Mike Vrabel thing was not expected. I did not think I was going to be seeing that one.
I wonder if Mike Vrabel shot a text, said, hey, Taylor, the marriage is not in a great place. The wife loves Taylor Swift. Hit me with an invite. Let's make it happen, please. Pretty please. Travis. Was that a Travis text or was that a Taylor text? Was Mike a guest of Taylor or Travis? What side did he sit on?
Do you think that Taylor Swift knows who Mike Vrabel is?
Valid point. That's great. But we might have buried the entire lead tonight. Adam Sandler, per press release from Taylor Swift's publicist, officiated the wedding. Do you say I do? Chalamet! Don't know if he was there. He might be the only celebrity I didn't see pop up today. You have to laugh at that. You got to laugh at that a little bit. Adam Sandler, one of the greatest comedians of our time, officiating the wedding. Outstanding. On a quick serious note, for the sake of their marriage, let's hope they did marry in private yesterday. Marriage is serious. We don't have a lot of good role models in America. Taylor is that for a lot of women, so her having a happy, healthy marriage, that could encourage more people to get married, and that's good for society. Would hope that that's a great thing. Hope they have a big family, the whole thing. That would be great. Would love that to be a model for people. But it does seem like today was a party. That's all it was. And that's how it should be viewed. Today was a party that we're probably going to see sold to us on Disney+. You could see that, right? Around Christmas time, watch the Taylor Swift wedding, or in theaters, you could watch the Taylor Swift wedding, just like she did the Eras Tour thing. Because maybe the most eye-rolling thing was that Taylor performed at her own wedding, apparently. Did you see this? She performed at her own wedding.
I question some of the information. Like I'm gonna need more stuff about did she actually perform?
Would love to know the song. Would love to know what point of the wedding. Like she wasn't singing as she danced with Travis in the first dance. Father-daughter dance. Did we do that? Apparently, she did not have a maid of honor. She had a man of honor, which was her brother. And Travis Kelce's best man was Jason Kelce. No bridesmaids, no groomsmen. That's what we learned tonight, too. But it was a giant spectacle. The Empire State Building right now is turning blue in her honor. The message in front of MSG. It's newsworthy, just not to be taken super seriously, is what we've learned about the Taylor Swift wedding. But congrats to the happy couple, in all sincerity. See that George Stephanopoulos is being nominated via the chat. You can watch us, you can listen to us, however and wherever you're consuming the program. Greatly appreciate that. Coming up, the story from the day that reminds us why exactly we love sports the way we do. We're just getting started here on Westwood One Sports Night.
NBA free agency officially opens on Monday. Will your team make the needed moves? We'll tell you which way the ball is bouncing. And the big names signing the big deals. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham.
Before we get to Free For All Friday, where you can steer the ship in whatever direction you please, this is the only question we want you to answer in 300 markets across the country and in Canada. What is the correct way to dress a burger or a hot dog in honor of America 250? 310-840-4910. I have an answer to this. D-Day's being weirdly cryptic and not telling me his answer, but perhaps we can get one out of him in just a little bit. Prior to doing that, though, Argentina, Cape Verde tonight gave us all that we could ask for, not just from a World Cup match, but from a sporting event, heck, sports entertainment in general. The script of this game was essentially Rocky. In one corner, you have the heavyweight champion, not Apollo Creed, but Argentina, ranked number 1 in the world and entering tonight on a 10-game winning streak in which they've allowed just 2 opposing goals. On the other side, you have the giant underdog in Cape Verde. This is a nation that is the smallest country to ever participate in the World Cup. Obviously, this being their first World Cup appearance as well. Cape Verde, for context, the size of their country in terms of landmass, it's the size of Rhode Island. It's a little bit bigger than Rhode Island. And they're facing the World Cup champion Argentina club. But much like Rocky, Cape Verde went the distance with the champ. Scored 2 goals. Again, 2 goals in the previous 10 matches. Cape Verde scoring 2 goals tonight. And even though the score said otherwise at the end, Cape Verde won. Argentina gets to advance, but Thierry Henry said it well afterwards. What you see from Argentina, they're not the ones that are happy. They're not the ones that feel like winners right now, feel like champions. Cape Verde does, because they went the distance. They were the story tonight, even though they don't advance. This game featured 2 of the best moments we've seen in this tournament so far. For the 8th straight World Cup match, Leo Messi scored, and it was... You want to know why Lionel Messi might be the greatest player ever? Go and look at the replay of this goal. The first touch, what he did to deaden that ball with the outside part of his boots, there's no science that makes that make sense. Other than this guy is otherworldly. He's a wizard. And he has a record 20 World Cup goals to his name. But that paled in comparison to what happened in extra time. Argentina, they took the lead in the first half. Cape Verde counterpunched. Argentina scored in the first couple of minutes of extra time. And we're thinking, bravo, great story, Cape Verde. You can hold your head up high, but this is a wrap. Then Sidney Lopez Cabral had other ideas with the strike of the tournament that sounded this way on the Fox telecast.
Semedo trying to reset quickly and trying to catch Argentina napping. McAllister can't make the play. Lopez Cabral! It's incredible! It's remarkable! It's almost unbelievable! It's Cape Verde for a second time tonight, tying the game!
D-Day might be the right person to ask this question to. Does John Strong call matches as if he's a professional wrestler commentator? Because that did sound very pro wrestling. By God! It's unbelievable!
A little bit. It kind of felt like he really wanted. Remember the other night when we played the Telemundo broadcast? Because the
Andres
energy
Cantor,
is there
yeah.
and feels like that's what he's going for.
Andres Cantor did call this match. Don't know how his call sounded, but have an idea what word he might have used a couple of times after that goal was notched. Easily, that was the moment of this tournament. Easily, this is the game of the tournament. But if we're being honest for a second, this is the part you're probably not going to agree with or like, but oh well. It's a good thing Argentina advanced. With respect to Cape Verde, again, great respect. It's not as sexy or as exciting to watch them play than Messi in Argentina. This is the part that some people just have fundamental disagreements with what they're interested in with sports. Personally, just want to see the best teams play. Love watching the best team. Alabama, when they were dominant under Saban, it's boring. Alabama fatigue. Enjoyed it. UConn women's basketball. Some of the best basketball we've ever seen. Loved it. Like dominance in sports. Like seeing the best teams and the best players play. You think it's a good thing? With respect to Cape Verde, you think it's a good thing to see Cape Verde continue to play rather than not get to watch Leo Messi play another international match, probably in his career? It's the same unpopular opinion we share during the NCAA tournament. Upsets are great in the first round when you have all these games that are staggered throughout the day. But once you get to the point of the tournament where there are standalone games, you're not wanting to sit there and watch St. Peter's play for the next 2 hours. You want to watch Kentucky. You want to watch North Carolina and Duke. That's what you want to see. So, when you watched American Idol back in the day, the bad singers that Simon Cowell picked fun at, that was good in the beginning of the show, but the further you get in the tournament and the elimination rounds in Hollywood, want to see the good singers. So, great story. It's why we love sports. It's why we love sports. But glad that Argentina found a way to advance. This segment, sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Denton Day, awaiting with bated breath. The correct way to dress a burger or a hot dog is.
Well, I told you. You got to give me yours first.
See, for me, it's the same answer. Ketchup and mustard. That's it. Those are the prerequisites.
No, you need some relish on a hot dog.
What's that?
You need some relish, maybe some onions on a hot dog.
Okay.
Come on now. Live up a little bit.
No. For me, it's ketchup and mustard and nothing else in any other. Well, sometimes if you get like one of those like cheesy dogs that have bacon on it, that's pretty fun. But that's getting too fancy. For me, simple. It's mustard, it's ketchup. Just grilled some burgers tonight. That's how I spent my evening. Wife, son, they're out of the town for the weekend, out of town. So threw 4 burgers on the grill, medium rare, 2 for tonight, 2 for later. Mustard, ketchup, called it a day. Didn't even throw lettuce on it. Or bacon. Didn't even have cheese tonight, but that's more that I thought we had cheese, but apparently we had run out. So, no cheese on the burgers.
You got to have cheese. That's a very, very rare Josh Gramel. Is doing all of that. You did the heavy lifting. And then to open the fridge and be like, oh my God, I'm out of cheese.
So you do relish with mustard and ketchup?
On a hot dog? Yeah. I mean, hot loaded up. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Yeah. Onions.
Okay.
Everything. The whole deal. I'm not from
So what's
Chicago, but, like, if you want to walk it through the garden, walk it through the garden. Like, on a hot dog, give me everything. A burger,
Okay,
I don't
so
need
what
relish, but
What do you need on the burger then?
ketchup, mustard, cheese. If bacon is an option, take some bacon. If
Okay.
onions are an option, take some onions. I'm a millennial, so if you want to throw an egg on there, make it a brunch burger. I don't care what time of day it is. I'll run it up.
Pimento?
If that's an option. I've never had that outside of restaurants.
It's good stuff. So we're aligned on that front. Speaking of hot dogs, I've got split interest in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest in Coney Island on Saturday. Do I just root for the American hero that is Joey Chestnut, who's the heavy favorite, who is a friend of the show that we had on, handing me the shrimp cocktail from St. Elmo's when we were at the Final Four earlier this year? Is that the rooting interest? Or the tallest competitive eater on planet Earth, Gideon OG, who's one of the 11 competitive eaters, whom I went to high school with, and me and him were among the four finalists for Homecoming King. They put the four finalists out on the court to be announced at halftime of a game who the Homecoming King and Queen was, and he beat me. We were finalists, but he beat me in the homecoming court. So do I root for the guy I went to high school with who has long odds, or do I root for Joey Chestnut, who's now a friend of the show?
There's more information that's needed. Who won Homecoming Queen?
They were best basketball player, the best men's basketball player, and the best women's basketball player. Won Homecoming King, Homecoming Queen.
So not
and the
your
Homecoming
date.
Queen her name's Rachel. What's that?
Not your date. You didn't steal your date to win Homecoming King.
No. She's now a meteorologist in Charlotte, so she's in the media game. Shout out to Rachel. But great basketball player.
Because that's important.
Gideon
to
was
the
6'9".
story.
He
If
was a
he
good
stole
player,
your
too.
date, you can't root for
No.
him. You got to hope for him
No.
to fail forever.
I don't even think I had a homecoming date.
But you were still up for Homecoming King? That's actually a crazy flex.
I see. Here's my bag, and maybe this is something you learned about me. No one on earth would consider me the cool guy, but I am what you would describe as a social chameleon. I literally hung out with everybody. There was not a group of people that didn't feel that they could hang out with me or talk to me. So the nerds played the video games. I played the sports. I talked the sports. So I fit in with the cool guys that way too. But, I was non-threatening in any type of way. So I was just the guy who could fit into any social situation. Social chameleon in that way. Does that make sense? Is that more or too much information? Does that check?
I think that makes perfect sense. I would be dying to know what your conversations were like with the band kids, but we'll get there eventually.
Were you one of the band kids?
Not in high school. In middle school, I played the baritone because my parents were like,
great.
you should be in the band. And then they made me play the worst instrument ever. Like, if I played the saxophone, I could tell people I played the saxophone and I could still bust a tune. Ain't nobody wanted me to pull out the baritone at 31 years old. It's just nobody cares about that.
Speaking of the 4th of July, that means it's roughly the halfway point in the Major League Baseball season. And there's a common thread that goes through the top stories so far this season. And you're probably not going to like them, honestly. And that's next on Westwood One Sports Night.
Jaylen Brown is headed to the city of brotherly love. The Celtics are trading the former Finals MVP to the Sixers for Paul George and a bundle of draft picks. Does the addition of Brown make Philly a legit challenger to New York in the East? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham,
This is really a shot at Oliver Popular, who's going to be very busy very quickly when Free For All Friday starts, where you get to steer the ship in about 20 minutes. 310-840-4910. The Baltimore Orioles won 3-0 tonight. The LA Dodgers currently trail the San Diego Padres 3-0. So those are some of the scores that stand out. And we segue to Major League Baseball. The 4th of July is roughly the halfway point in the Major League Baseball season. When the calendar flips to July, most teams are at that 81, 82 game threshold. So it's a pretty good time to get a gauge on what the big storylines have been this season. Unfortunately, negative storylines have not only permutated through the first half of the MLB season, they've dominated the first half of the MLB season. Most notably, the American League being absolute garbage. There's really no better way to put it. 9 of the 15 teams in the American League have losing records. 9 of the 15. For perspective, entering today, only 4 National League teams have losing marks. 9 of the 15 have losing records in the American League right now. The best team in the American League is Tampa Bay. Yeah, a team that's always good in the regular season, but because they're a small market team, a la Billy Beans, A's, Moneyball, all that, they lack the high-level talent to win a World Series in October. So it's a paper tiger that's at the top of the American League, probably just benefiting off the grossness that surrounds them. Without Aaron Judge for the last month, the Yankees still have the second most wins in the AL. But fewer wins than 5 National League teams. Yankees, second best record in the American League. 5 NL teams have more wins than the New York Yankees do. Which brings us to the next biggest story. The other New York franchise, the Mets. Entering today, only 2 teams in Major League Baseball have fewer wins than the Mets do. How'd the Mets do tonight? Pulling up the scoreboard. The New York Mets fell to the Atlanta Braves 5-3. The Mets are 36-52. And this is despite having the second highest payroll in the entire sport. Our guy Denton Day is a Washington Nationals fan. The Nats, this is the part where we check to see how the Nats did earlier tonight. The Washington Nationals won tonight. They have 11 more wins than the New York Mets do. The New York Mets spent more than 3 times the amount of the Washington Nationals payroll. More than 3 times. And Washington, in their division, has 11 more wins at the moment. Which is why they fired their manager in Carlos Mendoza. Frankly, just taking him out of his putting him out of his misery. But if you think GM David Stearns is next, think again. Here was Mets owner Steve Cohen on with Joel Sherman and John Heyman of the New York Post.
Yeah, I have a contract. It's a 5-year contract, and we're going to live that contract out.
Does that mean David Stearns is getting the full 5 years?
Listen, I mean, I'm going forward with David as our leader. Listen, there's no guarantees in anything. Okay, I'm going to evaluate this as we go along, but the change that's not going to be made is moving David out at this point. I'm just not going to do it.
Just not gonna do it, he says. 2.5 years into his deal, just not gonna do it. Almost there. Sounded like Dana Carvey doing George H.W. on Saturday Night Live way back in. Not gonna do it. But the largest storyline looming over this baseball season through the first half has been the dark cloud of labor discussions. For the first time since the 1994 strike, the owners proposed a salary cap. And almost every week since then, we got another proposal or another headline that reflects just how far apart the players and the owners are on how they believe Major League Baseball should run and how it should look. And to add salt in the wounds, The Dodgers, they've separated again. Best record in the sport. Today they were 2.5, 3.5 games better than the next closest team. They're coming off consecutive World Series titles. They're coming off signing lucrative deals that they didn't need to sign with Edwin Diaz and certainly not Kyle Tucker. The deferred money, all of it. It's absurd. And it all just points to one thing. The threat of games being missed next season. And that has put a large damper on things. Because when your team's out of it, one of the things that excites you is, oh, let's check out the prospects and perhaps we can make some trades at the deadline and get excited about that. And then if there's not a baseball season next year, or if you're not starting on time, well, then what exactly are you looking forward to? What exactly is that? Negative storylines. They've taken center stage. They're dominating Major League Baseball the first half of the regular season. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, searching Westwood One Sports Night. That's where you can chime in. That's where you can watch us in addition to listening to us. Like, comment, subscribe, all those things. Helps us with the algorithm. We've grown very quickly, over 2K video subscribers in less than 5 months streaming. However and wherever you listen or watch. We greatly appreciate that. You can find the full show on our Apple and Spotify podcasts, searching Westwood One Sports Night. Didn't have a chance to talk about this D-Day, but had a chance to go to the National Sports Media Association banquet earlier this year. For those who don't know, the National Sports Media Association, that's been around since 1959, every year honors a state award-winning sports writer and sportscaster from all 50 states. And they honor national winners, national sportscaster, national sports writer, and you have some Hall of Fame inductees as well. And it's a great big banquet. It's a lot of fun. Easily one of my favorite weekends of the year. I've been to every one of these since 2015. Well, the National Sportscaster of the Year, as voted on by his peers, myself included, was Sean McDonough. Sean McDonough had never won this recognition before somehow. In addition to being perhaps the most versatile announcer out there, World Series, Stanley Cup, college football playoff, Monday Night Football, college basketball. He's hilarious. He had this joke that stuck with me today that I'm probably going to steal. Like, he was talking on stage with Wes Durham, the voice of the Atlanta Falcons and ACC Network from ESPN2. And his mic cut out for a second, and then he said, "I've been around more dead mics than an Irish undertaker." Something that I might just take with me. Brought the room down. Great line from him. He had a ton of guests with him, and among Sean McDonough's guests was New York Giants head coach John Harbaugh. Now, you tell me if that's a flex or not. Yeah, just going to have some family, some friends, and Giants head coach John Harbaugh. And this is how you know Sean's a real one, D-Day. We're kind of in the scrum, just hanging out. I'm talking to Sean. John Harbaugh's to his right. And Sean taps on Harbaugh's shoulder and says, "Hey, John, you've got to meet my friend Josh. He does a great show for Westwood One." And then all of a sudden, I'm in. I didn't have to bug John Harbaugh. If I got the Sean McDonough stamp of approval, that's great. And John Harbaugh was very, very cordial and super, super smart and nice. He asked where I went to school. I said East Carolina, and that was the day we learned about Chris Johnson, unfortunately, having ALS. And he told me about being at that scouting combine. He ran 4.24. And then he started talking about, I forget Bragance's first name, that dealt with ALS with the Ravens back when he was there, and started talking about that nasty disease. Just was great. Yeah, catching up with John Harbaugh at that event. Also recognized was Yahoo's Ross Dellinger, the great dogged college sports reporter, Adrian Wojnarowski. I sat next to Woj D-Day for lunch, and he did not reach for his phone one time. That sounds like a man who's happier and freer. Don't know if I could say that about a Ross Dellinger. Ross Dellinger had to pop out and take some calls, but Woj is out of the game now. He's just worried about his beloved Bonnies of St. Bonaventure. There was at least one Diana Rossini joke that was cracked during a Q&A session with both those guys talking about relationships and sourcing. It's a great weekend. Like, one of these years, D-Day, you'll have to come up
what was
and
the
hang out.
Rossini? What was the Rossini joke? You're burying the lead.
Somebody asked about, like, the ethics of, building sourcing. And one of those two gentlemen said, I know there's a headline out there about somebody that might have crossed the line in a way that I can't say I have. Kind of that. Just, the question seemed to be making a reference to that in some way. So appreciated that at least being noted. But you should come hang out for it. It'd be a lot of fun one of these years if we can make that an event, especially when we start winning these awards at Westwood One Sports Night. When we start winning national awards and getting recognized at these events. So that way we can party and invite our own NFL head coaches. Invite Dan Quinn and Dave Canales to come hang out with us. Be a good time.
That's your head coach because you're a Panthers fan.
Just be an easier drive. He's like an hour and a half away. When Free For All Friday begins, Rich Paul brings the LeBron goods, and you get the chance to steer the ship. Bring the caller goods. 310-840-4910. Steering the ship in whatever direction you please. Next on Westwood One Sports Night.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
It's Free for All Friday. You steer the ship. Any questions, any topic, call us now. 310-840-4910. Here's Josh Graham for Westwood One Sports Night.
Happy 250th birthday, America. For the next hour, you get to steer the ship in whatever direction of the sports universe you please. Or if you're one of those that needs a prompt, in honor of America 250, how do you best dress a hot dog or hamburger? 310-840-4910 is your ticket to the program. 310-840-4910. Mr. Positive is on the line to get Free for All Friday started. Show the people who might be new to the proceedings on this holiday, Mr. Positive, how it's done.
Happy birthday, America, to my warriors, as I descend upon your mind, body, and soul. Remember, how can you triumph? Just stay on track. Aim for the future and never look back. Boom, shakalaka. And to Travis Kelce and Tay-Tay, Taylor Swift, congratulations. And hoping tonight that you make little babies. And Denton Day, great job on the Odyssey Sports Minute. And Argentina, way to go. And for me, the hot dog, I want chili on it. The hamburger, I want cheese, mayonnaise, and bacon, and lettuce. Oh, my God, it's orgasmic. Everybody go for your dreams. Boom, shakalaka.
D-Day, I've never been more pro Mr. Positive than I've been in this moment. You can say all you want about Mr. Positive, but D-Day, what did that call lack is what I'm telling you. That's what I'm asking. I get warriors and inspirational messaging, a pseudo Elvis impression. I get pretty pictures being painted about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's evening, and I get shout-outs of Denton Day's performance on the Odyssey Network. It's amazing.
Mayonnaise on a burger, though? If it's an aioli, I guess that passes, but he said mayo, which leads me to believe it's not an aioli. He's just doing straight mayo, like Duke's, and that's... Come on, Mr. Positive, I expect better.
Well, Duke's, that is the preferred mayonnaise. You go.
There's
rather,
no such thing as the preferred mayonnaise, because mayonnaise is yuck.
This is a Duke's household versus Hellman's. Just pointing that out. 310-840-4910. You get the steer of the ship for this hour in whatever direction you please in the sports universe. In whatever direction you please for this hour, in this hour only. Meanwhile, Rich Paul, LeBron James, a super agent, delivered real bombshells on a podcast with Max Kellerman that he does. Most importantly, he narrowed the field of LeBron suitors. D-Day, need to know what you found most interesting about the whiteboard itself. In fact, for those watching on YouTube and X, can you find the actual whiteboard so that we can observe this together and talk about what we see? Because my takeaway, he put 10 teams on a whiteboard, Rich Paul did, with Max Kellerman, which right away eliminates 20 teams. Among the teams that were not included on the whiteboard in any way, Oklahoma City, Washington, the Bojangles Hornets, none of them included. But Rich Paul, it does seem, identified some front runners. For those watching on Westwood One Sports Night, you could see this. And the way that he identified front runners, don't know if you would classify it this way, but it sure seems like it. He has some teams, 5 of them, that he actually drew out the starting 5s on, or 4 of the players in the lineup and how LeBron would fit with those 5 teams. And then he has 5 other teams, D-Day, that are loosely mentioned on the outer end. Do you love the fact that, just love reading in between the lines of things, that rather than saying Golden State, it says Steph and Dre, or rather than saying Boston, it says Brad and Tatum? The best one, what does that say under Dallas and that's Masai, as in Masai Ujiri? Does that say oil and like
golf.
Africa?
Golf.
Because he has the NBA Africa connection, I think, too.
Yeah.
Is that what that says?
Yeah, that's a bunch of weird stuff. By far the best thing about this whiteboard is the fact that he has like an old school 1970s teacher pointer. Because he was just sitting down.
Oh,
and they didn't want to
he's
have him
sitting down.
standing up for whatever reason. It's
Yes,
not like they don't
yes.
have the infrastructure. He's very wealthy. They could have shot him standing up and pointing at all those things with a finger, and he just instead decided, I'm going to do it with one of these like metal pointers.
Oh, it's outstanding. By the way, it doesn't say Kyrie next to Dallas and Masai. That's worth noting as well. It just says Spurs. It just says Knicks. So really, the basketball fits that are being considered right now, based on the whiteboard, are just these 5. Philly, Miami, Cleveland, Denver, Minnesota. And Rich Paul revealed today that there are a lot more factors to this decision than you might think. See, let's use Cleveland as an example, where Rich Paul introduced us to a name that hasn't been considered at all by anybody, discussed by anybody, being relevant to LeBron's decision. Here was Rich Paul earlier. Getting to the Cleveland piece of it. Let's start with Rich Paul in Cleveland.
Big X factor. Let me talk to you about Brandon Weems. Brandon Weems is basically LeBron's brother. I don't know if you knew that. Now, he worked his own way. Nobody gave him anything. He's earned to be in the front office of the Cavs. He was a grad assistant in Kentucky, Oakland, LaSalle. He did everything on his own. He worked his own way there. Now, the negative is, and this is no offense to Harden, no Garland. because he loves Garland like he loves Maxey.
It's just, would this be anything, D-Day, that you would have considered? Yeah, LeBron doesn't want to go to Cleveland because Darius Garland isn't there. That's a huge negative in the eyes of LeBron James.
Well, I'm more fascinated that he just brought that up. Like in the conversation about the Cleveland, he was like, yeah, I don't really like James Harden that much. Like the other guy better.
Whoa, he said respect to James Harden.
Yeah,
Which,
no
Ricky,
offense, Josh, but I think your hair looks stupid.
No offense. Is this a Ricky Bobby situation?
Right,
is that
like
what this is?
Respect.
Hey, I said with all due respect. Just because you say with all due respect doesn't mean you can't say whatever you want. It sure as hell does. With all due respect, you look bleeping stupid.
Yeah, LeBron did
Denver
once draft James Harden in the All-Star draft, if you remember that.
Good point. Denver being on the board's fascinating. Because apparently LeBron's close to the Kroenke family. I think it's not Stan Kroenke, but the son of Stan that he's talked about for years. And then the Nuggets, RFA, Peyton Watson, you have people that are connecting dots because he's a clutch client. The biggest headline for the podcast was that LeBron would have joined the Knicks if they didn't win the title. There wouldn't have even been a board if the Knicks didn't win a title. So bombshells galore from the Rich Paul Max Kellerman bod today. But the 76ers would by far be the most intriguing possibility here. After adding Jaylen Brown, they might have the most top-level talent of anybody in the league. With JB and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe and when healthy, Joel Embiid. And this is what Rich Paul had to say specifically about LeBron's fit with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Philadelphia, everything changed.
Do they have his attention as Windhorst is reporting?
How could you not have the attention when you have Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown, and Embiid?
They're missing. All they really need here is a power forward who can think the game and shoot.
That's why he's in the middle. He enhances everything there.
Yeah.
He unlocks everything there.
He unlocks everything. D-Day, if Philly adds LeBron to those four guys, plus Dean Wade and LeBaron Philon, they're not only the favorites to win the East, they're the favorites to win it all. Would you go as far to say that, or is that too far?
No, I mean, where's the weakness? That's a group of five. That's a really, really strong group.
That's the only answer. Like, when Embiid's not in there, that's a lot to ask of Bona. But other than that, but you can maybe find some guys to fill out the rest of that roster. Didn't I see there was an Andre Drummond headline somewhere today? Like, there are bigs running around that would sign up to play behind Joel Embiid.
Drummond,
maybe?
I believe, signed with the Knicks.
Oh, well, that's their
Mitchell
Robinson replacement. No, you're right. That was the Mitchell Robinson replacement. You nailed that. So, yeah, you just have to find another big. That's what you would have to do there. But that would be the spectacle. I mean, you have that lineup, D-Day, with those insane sports fans. Holy hell. That could be a whole lot of fun. 310-840-4910. You get to steer the ship in whatever direction you please for this hour and this hour only. Free for All Friday edition. Let's go to Chicago. That's where V is calling in. V, welcome to Free for All Friday. Where are you steering the ship?
Yo, so before I get to NHL free agency, I just want to say I was just in South Carolina down in Houlihan, and I had my first taste of cookout. And honestly, it was pretty good, honestly.
You had cookout for the first time? What did you get?
Yeah. So, like, I got the hot dog with the quesadilla. Hot dog was not kind of good, but the quesadilla made up for it. And then I got, like, a cherry wine milkshake and the Cajun fries. I love the Cajun fries, honestly.
The cheer wine milkshake. You did it. You got the cheer wine float. That's a delicacy. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the cheer wine float. I hope you did.
But yeah, on to the NHL.
Yes.
It kind of broke my heart on July 1st, that fateful day. I mean, not only is Freddie gone, which I'll miss him, and honestly, I'm intrigued
Carolina
to see what
Hurricanes Stanley Cup winning goalie Freddie Anderson is now an Edmonton Oiler.
Yeah.
But hey, you got Brandon Bussey and you got Kochetkov talking about the Canes, and who knows, Connor Hellebuck. They're going after him. Team USA.
Yeah. I'll be very intrigued of what a Bussey Cooch tandem would be like. Not only do they do that, but they got something close to my heart. Now, I know AHL's been talked this much this day, but I've mentioned on the show before that I love Ryan Suzuki. He's my favorite player of all time, and I have his jersey. I'm actually looking at it right now.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Josh. My heart was broken when it was announced he signed with the Ottawa Senators. In my eyes, Ryan Suzuki was the depiction of a Chicago Wolf. He was the Chicago Wolves organization. That's why so many people liked him, including me. And now seeing them leave, it's just depressing, man.
Well, here's the part you got to remember, though. Here's the part you got to remember, V. And I appreciate
the
call.
business.
It's always good. It's always good to hear from you in Chicago. Is that, when you're in the AHL, you're kind of, and this happens in Major League Baseball too. You are held prisoner by how good or how bad your parent franchise is. And there's a reason why, if you are drafted by the Angels organization, for example, you're getting on the field pretty quickly in the majors versus if you're in the Dodgers organization, it's going to take some years before you find an opening to get with the big club. Just more depth above you. Same's true in hockey. So if you're talking about a draft pick that did well in Chicago, Suzuki, well, there's not a spot with the Hurricanes because they got everybody back from their Stanley Cup championship team. Our Stanley Cup championship team. Got to get the proper use here, proper grammar agreement here. Love my Canes. There just wasn't room. So you trade the guy, and now he's an Ottawa Senator, or he leaves to go to the Senators because there isn't room with the Hurricanes. Probably the more appropriate way to spell that out. That might be as good of an example, this segment bookended, of what Free for All Friday is about. Talking about D-Day and his work across the Odyssey Network and the evening that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are enjoying, and also cookout orders in South Carolina / not Carolina Hurricanes hockey, Chicago Wolves hockey from Chi-Town. It's what we do for 1 hour a week, each week. You can steer the ship in whatever direction you please. 310-840-4910. Up next, more of your Free for All Friday calls, and we'll stay with soccer, or we'll get back to soccer. Don't think we talked much soccer in that segment. By telling you why the United States is going to beat Belgium on Monday night. Keep it tuned to Westwood One Sports Night. Now it's soccer, second round of international soccer, right now. And DraftKings has you covered for every single match. The DraftKings app is now available in all 50 states and includes all markets, bringing the game straight to your fingertips wherever you are. New DraftKings customers, sign up with code Westwood. Spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code Westwood. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-MyReset. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, bet tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, void in Canada. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involves risk of loss. Availability varies. Bet to get bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Trade to get $50 in prediction dollars that expire in 1 year, issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. One non-withdrawable reward redeemable. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends July 19th. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
Country roads, take me home.
Happy 250th birthday, America. The U.S. men's national team is moving on to the round of 16, where they'll face Belgium in one of the biggest soccer matches in American history. Can the red, white, and blue do it again Monday?
Take me home, country road.
Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
It's Free for All Friday. You steer the ship. Any questions, any topic. Call us now. 310-840-4910. Here's Josh Graham for Westwood One Sports Night.
This is the show of winners. Because yours truly did the boring bet the favorite three-leg parlay for the World Cup today. Egypt, Argentina, Colombia. It had some stressful moments to get there, but we did get there. Those were the teams advancing, punching the final tickets through to the round of 16. So made some money off of that, courtesy of our friends at DraftKings. Denton Day also a winner too, because for the first time he got 16-0 on the college football game. D-Day, would you like to share your 16-0 lineup? For those who don't know, there is this game that's taking over the internet where, for whatever sport you please, for basketball, NBA, 82-0. College basketball, 40-0. For Major League Baseball, 162-0. And you have to put together a lineup based on whatever team and era that's thrown at you. You only get a certain number of recycles as well, where you get to recycle it. And D-Day went 16-0 in college football. So, D-Day, what was your 16-0 lineup?
It's a great accomplishment. Thank you to everyone who helped me get to this point. This game has come and went from the general zeitgeist of the world, but I'm still playing it, even though everybody else has left it in the rearview mirror. I had Trevor Lawrence at my quarterback, Jamal Williams at my running back, the 2016 season at BYU, Amba Etatawa at my wide receiver, 2016 with Syracuse, Tyler Croft, the Rutgers tight end from 2013. But I went double tight end because I got TJ Hawkinson from Iowa as well, and then Zach Charbonnet at a flex. So big running back, big tight end on offense with Trevor Lawrence throwing the football. Felt good about that one. But defense is where things got crazy, fellas. Chase Young on one side, Abdul Carter on the other side, Juan Thornhill at safety, Horace Richardson from SMU at cornerback, Aaron Curry on the defensive line and defensive tackle, and then Peyton Wilson, the man in the middle on defense from NC State.
Wait, Peyton Wilson from State? Let's go!
So thank you
a 10.
to everyone.
A 10.
I'm
Have
very
you guys
proud of
even
myself.
seen that movie that
Nope.
you're referencing right there?
Don't need to. I'm on cloud 9.
Yeah. D-Day, you have not seen Varsity Blues, I take it.
Nope. My team
Then
would smash
I'll
them,
just
though.
let you use your imagination what he's giving a 10. A 10.
Yeah,
310-840-4910. If you want in on the program, this is your hour. You get to steer the ship in whatever direction you please. Again, Argentina at Cape Verde, that was the game of the tournament. Egypt, Australia decided in penalties. Egypt advanced because what the hell was Australia doing? First off, the Socceroos, lame, as we've established. But then their manager went full galaxy brain. Goalie change for kicks. So this guy plays goal for the first 120 minutes. Yeah, let's make a change for the PKs. And then you send an 18-year-old out there for the penalties? That's a great idea. We need to make. Let's send the 18-year-old out there. Might have overthought that just a hair, just a touch. And then Colombia handling business in Kansas City against Ghana to advance to the round of 16. The United States faces Belgium in Seattle on Monday night. Tonight, the entire national team was at the Mariners game. Mauricio Pochettino threw out the first pitch. Not bad. Got it over the plate. We tip our cap to the U.S. soccer manager. These two clubs, Belgium and the United States, met in the round of 16 in 2014. Belgium won the match 2-1. That was in extra time, too. Tim Howard had 16 saves in the match. But unlike that 2014 meeting, the United States is going to beat Belgium Monday night, and here's why. The Americans have simply been a better team. Sometimes you don't need to overthink things. Back in 2014, Belgium was easily a top 10 nation with Eden Hazard, a young Lukaku, Fellaini with his majestic hair. They were just a better team. The U.S. at that time, maybe not even a top 20 soccer nation. But today, they float around the top 10. In similar air as Belgium, honestly, but most places have the United States ahead of the Belgians. But when you look at how these teams have played in the tournaments, the U.S. has been superior. The only time the United States has trailed in this tournament was in the Turkey match, and that was when they benched starters. They benched 9 of their 11 starters. Belgium, meanwhile, trailed Senegal 2-0 in the knockout stage match the last time out. Had to rally all the way back to win 3-2. They had 2 draws in group play. They have not looked great. The impact of Flo Balogun's red card is being overblown as well. Going into the tournament, we did not know it was going to be Balogun starting up top. We didn't know if it was going to be Balogun, Haji Wright, or Ricardo Pepi. It was a conversation. It could have been either of those guys. To Balogun's credit, he's taken that opportunity and run with it. But Pepi, he's not a significant drop-off. And he proved that when he started in Pulisic's place for the Australian group stage match. Christian Pulisic's the best player on this team. And without him against Australia, the U.S. didn't miss a beat. Up 2-0 at halftime, coasted in that game. So you should still fully expect that the Americans are going to play their game. And they're going to play this aggressive style, and they're going to take it straight to the Belgians. Lastly, it is a real benefit that this game is being played in Seattle. With respect to Santa Clara, with respect to Los Angeles, this is the location where the atmosphere is at its best, where the U.S. gets its best home field advantage, and soccer is a game where you get real advantages from your crowd because of the impact it has on officiating. Officiating has such a large impact on the results of soccer matches. And raucous crowds impact officiating. It's just human nature. This is why Mexico rarely ever loses at Stadio Azteca. It's probably why they're going to beat England on Sunday night. And it's partly why the United States is going to beat Belgium Monday night. We have the United States 2, Belgium 1 to advance to the quarterfinals for just the second time since 1930 and the first time since 2002. Make sure if you haven't already, you're subscribed to the YouTube channel and subscribed to the podcast feed, searching Westwood One Sports Night. Just exceeded 2,000 subscribers on YouTube in a very short period of time streaming video. It's how you can watch the show in addition to listening to it, however and wherever you choose to consume the program. We greatly appreciate that. Something that just appeared on the radar screen, all-star voting. Yeah, it is cool that Major League Baseball, in honor of America 250, is going to be in Philadelphia. And it'll be a conversation when the time comes who should be starting for the National League in the game. Jacob Mizorowski is the most flashy pitcher out there. Remember a year ago when he had started like 5 games and yet got an all-star invitation because he throws 105? Well, he's still been just as impactful this year, but do you give him the nod when Christopher Sanchez had that Philadelphia Phillies record scoreless inning streak, and on top of that, the game is in Philadelphia? Like, those are a couple variables where that's going to be a tough decision. But talking about the pitchers that are available in the National League, it's a scary proposition to think about. I hate that my Hulu TV is behind I'm assuming former Oriole Tanner Scott sits down Fernando Tatis Jr. here. Right down the middle and you don't swing at it. Just brutal. So, Oliver Popular, who, by the way, you should bother. Just bother Oliver. For no other reason. I don't know what questions you might have on Free For All Friday, but just bother him. 310-840-4910. We started this segment by talking about how I'm a big winner. Who's a big winner? Mikey's a big winner. You're so money and you don't even know it. Started by talking about the 3-leg parlay that we hit with the soccer. Took the Padres, bet the Padres at plus 200, or plus 195 to be specific. And a few weeks ago, I had the Orioles at a similar price Friday night, and the Orioles were leading by 3 runs in the 9th inning. And they blew it. They lost the game. Why? Because I opened my big mouth. And I was tempted not to do that this time. But the Padres, with Michael King cruising, were up 3-0 on their rivals from L.A. They blew a lead yesterday. Surely that wasn't going to happen again today. So I kind of give it to Oliver a little bit during the break. You see the scores. The Orioles won 3-0. Actually, that was on air. Orioles up 3-0. Won 3-0. The Dodgers are down 3-0. Surely they're not going to give up a grand slam to Teoscar Hernandez. Oh, wait, that's exactly what happened. And the Dodgers won 4-3. Devastating. Devastating. And Oliver, right on cue, ready, having the Randy Newman just ready to roll. But we do have the all-star lineups that are going to drop on Saturday night. 310-840-4910. Let's go to Jonathan, who's in Illinois. Jonathan, 300 markets across the country and in Canada as well. Westwood One Sports Night. We welcome you to Free For All Friday. Where are you steering the ship?
Hi. I just wanted to ask if you were to choose a player from the Cubs to play a different sport, one, what Cub would it be? Two, what sport and what position would they play?
Great question. So the obvious thing to do, and thank you for the call, by the way, Jonathan, is to go Pete Crow Armstrong playing soccer. Is that the right sport, Oliver, for Pete Crow Armstrong, if we're going to be a little bit versatile? I know he's a Southern California kid. I wouldn't think hockey is his speed. I wouldn't guess he's doing much skating out in L.A. So I'm thinking Pete Crow Armstrong either is like a center back in soccer or maybe even a kick returner. He's elusive. Like if he's great in the open field and center field, so maybe you can just have him returning punts as if he's Devin Hester, another great Chicago punt returner. We could do that. So that's what we'll do with the Chicago Cubs. We'll go and take the easy path. The easy path is Pete Crow Armstrong. Damn San Diego Padres. Just couldn't figure it out. Unbelievable. Speaking of baseball, though, Major League Baseball is missing a giant opportunity on the 4th of July. That and your last opportunity to get in on Free For All Friday, 310-840-4910, next on Westwood One Sports Night.
We know you're jonesing for some football just like we are. I'm jonesing, man. NFL training camps begin opening in 19 days. And yes, we're counting. You're home for the NFL. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham.
Last call for free-for-all Friday phone calls. Steer the ship in whatever direction you please. 310-840-4910 if you want in on the program. Major League Baseball is missing a giant opportunity on the 4th of July. They are fumbling the bag, as the Utes say. How is it smart business that our nation's pastime has exactly one nationally televised game on the 4th of July? You'll either get in your market Mets Braves or Cardinals Cubs on Fox. That's their prime time slot. Meanwhile, on Fox Sports 1, you've got auto racing and horse racing on throughout the day. Let's check in on the MLB's other TV partners, why don't we? What they're airing. ESPN, other than the 1 hour they have the hot dog eating contest, has third round of Wimbledon action. NBC has sailing programming during the day before you get to the senior tour in golf. Plus, you got Netflix and Apple that's always looking for programming. Somebody explain to me, like I'm 5, why Major League Baseball, for one day a year, can't have nationally televised games all day long. Honestly, opening day and the 4th of July should be Major League Baseball getting those elbows out. You know how you're at the Y trying to grab some boards and you just throw them elbows? That needs to be Major League Baseball on opening day and the 4th of July. Stagger games all day long. Make it like round 1 of the NCAA tournament in basketball. This should be Major League Baseball's annual showcase. It should be viewed like the NBA on Christmas Day before the NFL deboed it from them. It's the point on the calendar, like the NBA, okay, the season's been going on for a couple of months. That's the point where people start paying attention more to the NBA. It's like the jumping off point of, okay, these teams are good. We know what these storylines are. Check this out. These teams, they're being showcased on Christmas Day nationally. And that's what the NBA did. And it was wise. It was smart. This is the point on the calendar where we're at the halfway point, where it's okay to start looking at the standings, where we know who the good teams are. Showcase them. There's no football in your way. There's no basketball in your way. There's no hockey in your way. So Major League Baseball should be capitalizing on this. Honestly, shouldn't be giving away this idea for free D-Day, but will. You know how the Lions and the Cowboys are at home every year on Thanksgiving? The New York Mets should lobby to play at home every year on the 4th of July. And ESPN, which has the rights to the hot dog eating contest at Coney Island, 20 miles away from Flushing, should have the hot dog eating contest lead right into the Mets playing 30 minutes or an hour later. So the hot dog eating contest ends, and then you use that as a way to throw to your Major League Baseball coverage from Flushing, or maybe you could bookend your day that way. Hey, starts with the hot dog eating contest, it ends with the Mets in primetime playing whoever. And you have all the same announcers involved in cross-platform. ESPN, why aren't you doing this? Like, it's right there, sitting in front of you. But mostly, this is Major League Baseball's fault. Because Fox, the networks can only do so much with the matchups that you give them. Like, look at the schedule itself on Saturday. You've got massive brands with puzzling matchups. On the 4th of July weekend, you're going to have the Yankees play the Twins. You got the Red Sox in Anaheim. The Giants are playing the Rockies. Heck, your best team, your biggest brand. The Dodgers are playing past 10 o'clock Eastern when most of the nation is asleep. Like, it's with respect to the Braves facing the Mets, which is, Mets, Braves, or Cardinals, Cubs. With respect. These other matchups we just have, there are so we could do better. We could do better, and we should. God, I hope that Cardinals-Cubs game's better than the one we got today. St. Louis 17, the Cubs 1. That's what we got today. We're going to showcase the Mets. We're going to put the Mets in the one primetime game for some people in America. This is the baseball that you're going to give them on the 4th of July. It just makes little sense. And then baseball catches a break. This isn't Major League Baseball's fault. It's just bad luck. Like, none of the top pitchers are throwing tomorrow. No Miz, no Schlittler, no Sanchez, no Skeens. You got Yamamoto, but other than him, no stars. No Wheeler, no stars are on the mound. So it just, in more ways than one, it just seems as if Major League Baseball is missing the boat here. Because oftentimes, hosts can say something and then there's like a blind spot of, oh, you're not considering this though, Josh. You're not considering that the World Cup's going on Fox. So, of course, just the fact they're carrying a game makes sense. Okay, well, you telling me we can't put it on Fox Sports 1? Over IndyCar? Over horse racing? You telling me sailing, paid tape programming on NBC? Well, to NBC's credit, at least, they've got all the games on Sunday. They got 2. It is amazing. NBC on Sunday has 2 primetime games, to their credit, on the 4th of July weekend. They got one to start the day at around noon, and then they have Sunday Night Baseball, and then all the other games are on Peacock Sunday. Because, yes, that's what we need. Let's have them all on a streaming service that most people don't have. That's not exactly what we have in mind, what we're looking for here. Just frustrating as hell, because it just seems like there's an opportunity here that's being missed for baseball. Last free-for-all Friday call of the week, of the night, comes from our nation's capital. It's Justin. He's in D.C. Justin, where are you steering the ship?
Josh, I cannot agree more with you on your 4th of July scheduling rant there. How come the Phillies aren't home today as well? That also seems kind of odd.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I was going to ask a Brandon Ayuk question real quick.
Please.
Considering that today's typically the July 3rd media dump, why wouldn't the Niners do a suspension of line of conduct detrimental to the team today when no one would be paying attention to it?
This would be the time to do that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, like everyone's focused on the wedding and other stuff. This was the perfect day to have done it.
Wow, a great. Do you want Brandon Ayuk on the Commanders, by the way? He knows he wants to be on the Commanders. How do you feel about it?
I'm a Giants fan. I just live in D.C., so I hear about it.
Yeah. Well, it's a great question you asked, and thank you so much for the call. D-Day, it's a good point. If you're trying to deal some bad news, if you have some bad PR in the political space, in the sports space, today's the day to dump it, right? Hey, let's dump it at 5 o'clock, right as Taylor's wedding is starting, and America 250 and the State Fair or whatever's going on, and also you have everything else.
I don't know that this ending this would be. So you frame it as if you have bad PR that you want to get rid of. I don't know that I've watched a Brandon Ayuk video and thought this looks really bad on the 49ers.
It's almost like he doesn't have an agent right now to tell him what's going on.
He is acting without NFL-appointed legal representation. There's clearly somebody that is giving him some sort of advice or editing videos, unless he has become a video editor in his free time.
Yes.
But I think Justin does not want to see him on the Commanders if he's a Giants fan.
Does Ayuk put captions on his videos and cap cut it and put it on the talk? Like, do you think he's a content creator, Brandon
well, sometimes
Ayuk?
He's not talking in videos. He's just dancing.
Who's a better content creator, Brandon Ayuk or Jaylen Brown, based on what we've seen this week?
Jaylen Brown he's a little bit more consistent. You know, if you're a fan, you kind of know when he's going to stream, whereas Brandon Ayuk, you just have to turn your notifications on Instagram, and then eventually you get bombarded with about 6 stories in a 45-minute span, ranging from a bunch of different things.
Is it strange that Brandon Ayuk just doesn't move the needle for me? I don't view him as a top 10 receiver, and I also just think I think the position itself is often overvalued. I think it's talked about too much because of the fantasy football culture we live in, where people were like, "Oh well, oh my God, like this is one of the most important players on the team," because you view football through the lens of what helps you in fantasy. Like Kenneth Walker is probably a great example. Some people are like, "How could the Seahawks not prioritize Kenneth Walker?" It's like, well, you know, there are more important things than running back, even though it might not seem that way on fantasy football.
So I agree and disagree at the same time. I think if you're spending big, like the Bengals are, maybe not the best decision in the world, but the Commanders proved in 2025, if you have guys that suck, it's a big deal.
And Ayuk might not be the most expensive option.
No, he's going to be very cheap.
So that's a good point. That's the one way. We can find common ground on the front of overpaying for receivers, probably not the best business investment. There is a team that it seems LeBron James wants to join, but in a shocking development, that team doesn't seem to be interested in the King. We'll break that all down as Free for All Friday comes to a close next on Westwood One Sports Night.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham.
In honor of America 250, our list of the 10 greatest American athletes of all time, 20 minutes from now. Spent way too much time doing research and thinking about this list, put it out on X at Josh Graham Show, getting a number of candidates. Wasn't easy, obviously, to narrow it down to 10, but we'll share that list with you 20 minutes from now. If you have submissions for who should be number one, 310-840-4910 if you want in. Some might even suggest the person we're about to talk about right now. LeBron James is still in the news because we don't know where he's playing his basketball next season. His super agent, Rich Paul, was co-hosting a podcast with Max Kellerman this week, and even though he drew the names of 10 NBA destinations on a whiteboard for his top client to potentially end up at, one team stood out, the New York Knicks. But while it sounds like the Big Apple captured King James's eye and maybe his heart, it doesn't seem like the feeling is mutual. It doesn't seem like New York is all that interested in landing LeBron. Now, Rich Paul, there is a lot of reading between the lines you could do here, but not much interpretation necessary to this comment. How much clearer can you get than what Rich Paul told Max Kellerman right here?
I think it's difficult, right? Because the last thing you want to do is mess up something like that, right? The Knicks has a good thing going. You know, that'll be – if the Knicks hadn't have won, there would be no board.
He'd be going to the Knicks.
He'd be going to the Knicks.
Yeah. That might make it in the paper tomorrow. If the Knicks didn't win the title, there's no board. LeBron's a Knick. Go, New York, go, New York, go. What a time to be a Knicks fan. You win the title, and even if you didn't win the title, you get LeBron James as a consolation. It's not bad. But if we were to test this just a little bit, up until this week, all the NBA insiders said LeBron intends to be a Laker. He intends to remain in Los Angeles. He wants to stay in Los Angeles. So when hypothetically did LeBron decide exactly he absolutely would have been a Knick if they didn't win a title. Unless this is part of LeBron's messaging strategy. Unless this is a part of LeBron trying to use Rich Paul to get the New York Knicks' attention. See, New York just won a title. Their executives are still drunk, probably, and celebrating. Tons of distractions. They're starting five, probably their owners at the Taylor Swift wedding today. So if LeBron wanted to play in New York, and you need to get the Knicks' attention, what might you do? Well, you might say, well, I would have been a Knick if they didn't win the title. You might have Rich Paul say that on your behalf. You know he is your agent and all. Or you might also have Rich Paul have a direct message catered to Jalen Brunson. Here's more from Rich Paul.
Jalen Brunson would literally have to pick up the phone and say, hey, man, it's no issue with me. It's no issue with me.
Jalen, balls in your court.
And I'm not saying that would make him make his decision.
But at least it would put him on the table.
Yeah, because you got to respect that.
Have the Knicks called?
Yeah.
Knicks checked in?
They checked in.
Did that seem sheepish to you, or is that just me? Have the Knicks called? Yeah, they've checked in. They've checked in. Hey, D-Day, there's somebody who wants to say hi. Do you mind if I grab this person at the door real quick?
I'd love you to grab this person at the door real quick. There you go. Get the foil on.
Well, hello! I just lost the foil here, D-Day. How we doing? Happy 4th, America. America 250. Conspiracy Josh entering the building here. Got a couple thoughts here on what's happening here with the Knicks. You want to hear them, D-Day? You want to hear these takes?
I'm dying
Inject
to hear
into your
them,
veins.
Conspiracy Josh. Maybe not inject them into my veins, but I would like to hear them.
I can't keep this foil here on my head. I'll
That
tell you
is a
this.
conspiracy. Someone's out to get you.
D-Day, listen to this. Rich Paul was told by LeBron, get the Knicks interested in me. Because they ain't calling. All these other teams are calling. I want to be a Knick. So when LeBron James says, hey, or Rich Paul says, if the Knicks didn't win a title, I'd be a Knick. Why is that? Why would that be? Let's think about it for 1 second. Just think about it for a bit. Is it possible that LeBron wants to be a Knick? But the reason why, in Rich Paul's words, he doesn't want to mess up a good thing there, is actually that the Knicks don't want to mess up their chemistry? That maybe, perhaps, it's the Knicks who aren't interested in LeBron the other way around. Because that doesn't make sense, does it, D-Day? Like, if you're ring chasing, you'd want to go to the team that's good. Why would LeBron care about the chemistry of the Knicks? It's the Knicks that would care. And also, LeBron might be friends with some fella named Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, whose legacy was affected by the fact that he left Oklahoma City to a contender in Golden State. Maybe this is Rich Paul, or LeBron through Rich Paul, telling Jalen Brunson, hey, man, I'd come there, but you got to make it easier by letting people know you want me. You got to let people know you want me, because if I were to join the Knicks without that invitation or approval, it's going to seem like that I'm just an air quote ring chaser, and I'm going to get knocked for it. What you think?
This is a very well thought out conspiracy, Josh.
He had to go.
Oh wait,
there
where'd
goes
he go?
Conspiracy Josh.
Darn it, I was still talking to Conspiracy Josh.
Did you
do they
agree
not
with
have each
Conspiracy
other's
Josh's take?
Do they not have each other's phone numbers? Like, that's the thing
Oh, they
that's so
do.
desperate to me, is that he's sitting on a podcast being like, Jalen Brunson has to call him. Like, I don't know that he needs to call him. I think if you guys could just call each other.
But I think you're right. But I think what he's saying there is Jalen Brunson has to let it be known publicly, just like he's being performative and saying this publicly, that they want LeBron James. But the
Well, he
reason
didn't say
why you're not
publicly.
hearing
He
a lot
said
of
he
that,
wanted to call LeBron. He wanted him to call LeBron.
I know, but he's saying, to your point, he's saying something that you could just do privately, publicly, because this is a message to Jalen Brunson. Hey, publicly let people know that you'd be okay with LeBron coming here. So that way LeBron
Isn't that
might come.
implied, though, if he goes to the Knicks? Because Jalen Brunson runs New York at this point. It's him and Zoran. Those are the two most important people in the city.
So the fact that hasn't already happened tells you what? The Knicks don't want LeBron. And Jalen Brunson doesn't want LeBron. So Rich Paul says this publicly, working for his client. He works for LeBron James. Maybe to apply some pressure. Maybe to get into the ear of the owner, James Dolan.
Very cringy.
Just throwing that out there. I agree with Conspiracy Josh. I don't often agree with him, but I agree with him in that context. Let's just hear more from Rich Paul. I mean, the breadcrumbs are there that LeBron wants to be in New York. This week, the Knicks didn't re-sign Mitchell Robinson. I mean, come on. There was a report that they're worried about the second apron, so they're looking for vet minimum guys. And then, lo and behold, what's the breaking news headline regarding LeBron this week? He's willing to take the vet minimum. Rich Paul, he made a point to say that LeBron has an affinity for playing in New York. Here he was one more time on the podcast.
And once a year since he's been in the Western Conference. But remember, part of his whole thing, even like at Nike with his shoes, he would make a special shoe just for when he played in New York.
Right.
He had the taxis, he had the Big Apples. I remember he debuted the graffitis.
So the Knicks do not want LeBron. That's what this is really about. And thus, LeBron's going to choose another place to go. That's probably what's going to end up happening here. Shifting things to the game of the night in sports tonight. Argentina, Cape Verde is a reminder of why we love sports. It gave us all that we could ask for tonight. Like the script of this game, if you missed it from Miami tonight, the script of this game was essentially Rocky. In one corner, you have the heavyweight champion. Not Apollo Creed, but Argentina. Ranked number 1 in the world, entered tonight on a 10-game winning streak in which they've only allowed 2 opposing goals. On the other side, you have a giant underdog, Cape Verde, a nation that's the smallest country to ever participate in the World Cup, a country that's the size of Rhode Island. But much like Rocky, Cape Verde, they went the distance with the champ. They scored 2 goals. And even though the score said otherwise in the end, they won. Thierry Henry said it best. Look at the Argentinian side. They don't look like the team that's happy. They don't look like the team that's champions. Cape Verde looks like that. Even though they lost, they won. They were the story of the night. And the game featured 2 of the best moments of this tournament so far. For the 8th straight World Cup match, Leo Messi scored. And it was on an otherworldly first touch. If you want to know why Lionel Messi is considered maybe the greatest soccer player ever, look at that goal. 39 years of age. The ball is coming in hot. And somehow, with the outer part of his shoe, he's able to deaden the ball with that first touch before roofing the shot to put Argentina in front 1-0. It's wizardly stuff. He has a record 20 World Cup goals, but that goal paled in comparison to what happened in extra time. Argentina, they scored first. Cape Verde, they matched, and then, okay, there's your surprise. You were able to hang with Argentina through 90. But then Argentina scored in the first 2 or 3 minutes of extra time, and it's only a 30-minute period, so this is going to... Great story, Cape Verde, but it's not going to hold up. Then Sidney Lopez Cabral of Cape Verde had other ideas with the strike of the tournament. This call that sounds a lot like a professional wrestling call, courtesy of Fox Sports.
Semedo trying to reset quickly and trying to catch Argentina napping. McAllister can't make the play. Lopez Cabral! It's incredible! It's remarkable! It's almost unbelievable! It's Cape Verde for a second time tonight, tying the game!
John Strong with a strong call there. Stu Holden also been great throughout this tournament for Fox. Great stuff. Also, Andres Cantor did this for Telemundo, and you have probably a general idea, if you're familiar with his work, with how that goal sounded. It was easily the game of the tournament, Argentina and Cape Verde. But the unpopular take, the part you're probably going to disagree with, it's a good thing that Argentina advanced. Oh, we all want to see the underdog win. Kinda, but then kinda not. With respect to Cape Verde, are you going to be just as excited to watch them in the next round than you would be watching Messi and Argentina? At a certain point in the tournament, and it doesn't really matter what the tournament is, we want to see the best teams play. This is the unpopular opinion during the NCAA tournament. Upsets are great in the first round when you have so many games and they're staggered on top of each other. But when you get to the standalone territory, yeah, we don't want to watch St. Peter's. We want to watch Kentucky. We don't want to watch High Point, all due respect to our friend Flynn Clayman. We want to watch Duke in North Carolina. That's what we want to see. When you watch American Idol, oh, the bad singers, they're great. The lovable stories, that's great when you get Simon Cowell picking fun at them, tearing them apart in the initial stages. But then when you get to Hollywood, you want to see the good singers later in the tournament. You want to see the best of the best. So great story, Rocky-esque, but probably for the best that Argentina figured out a way to get past. In honor of America 250, we have assembled a list of the 10 greatest American athletes of all time, and we'll share it with you next on Westwood One Sports Night. The second round of international soccer is now. DraftKings has you covered for every single match. The DraftKings app is now available in all 50 states and includes all markets, bringing the game straight to your fingertips wherever you are. New DraftKings customers sign up with code Westwood, spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code Westwood in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MyReset. Connecticut? Call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, bet tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus. Void in Canada. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involves risk of loss. Availability varies. Bet to get bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Trade to get $50 in prediction dollars that expire in 1 year, issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. One non-withdrawable reward redeemable. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends July 19th. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
It's our nation's 250th birthday. That's a lot of candles. This holiday weekend, grab the fire extinguisher and turn up the Westwood One Sports app. Wherever you might be celebrating, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham.
Surely no one will disagree with this list. America is celebrating her 250th birthday this July the 4th. So we have a list here of the 10 greatest American athletes of all time. The top 10. Going to be really honest. it was hard to narrow it down to 10. The top 3, let's make it the top 4 on this list, unassailable. In tiers, though. Really debated 1 and 2 back and forth, and then placing in order 3 and 4. Honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut. Jesse Owens, a slew of football players were right on the outside. Mia Hamm was in consideration. Just got a text. Is Secretariat on the list? No, Secretariat not making the cut. Top 10 greatest American athletes of all time. So who is on the list? Hank Aaron also in consideration as well. Number 10, the 10th greatest American athlete of all time, Jackie Robinson. Impact has to matter. But it's weird. The way some people talk about Jackie Robinson is as if, all right, the only impact he had is breaking the color barrier in America's pastime. But no, a couple of years after winning the Rookie of the Year, he won the National League MVP as well. So Hall of Fame player, Hall of Fame level impact, and belongs on a top 10 list. He might be the greatest American sports story we have. So he belongs on the list of the top 10. Number 9, athlete in the purest sense of the word, Jim Thorpe. Jim Thorpe was the first Native American to win a gold medal. He played professional football. He played professional baseball. He played professional basketball. He was born in 1887 and had his impact known in the early parts of the 20th century. Jim Thorpe, number 9 on the list. Number 8, the 8th greatest American athlete, Michael Phelps. He might be the greatest Olympian of all time. 23 medals, gold medals, over 4 Olympic Games. The Baltimore Bullet, Michael Phelps, has to be here somewhere. Number 7, greatest American athlete ever, Serena Williams. When we're talking about the individual sports, there is not much debate when people discuss who the greatest women's tennis player of all time is. It's Serena. And this is a worldwide impact that she has. And for her to overcome the shadow early on of her sister and become the athlete she is, still rallying back to play in Wimbledon this year, as nuts as that is, Serena Williams on the list of the top 10 greatest American athletes at number 7. Number 6, this might be a name that was higher on the list 10 years ago, but bump back a little bit. Tiger Woods is at number 6. Jack Nicklaus, by the way, was an honorable mention, but Tiger, at his best, is better than anything we've ever seen in golf. He was a force. He was just, it's hard to really even capture it if you weren't there for it. What the 2000s were like watching Tiger, culminating with the injured knee at Torrey Pines winning the U.S. Open in the playoff with Rocco Mediate 2008. It's just hard to capture it. But then the ability to overcome all the back surgeries he had in order to win that Masters in 2019, that might as well count for 5 green jackets, 5 majors in catching Jack Nicklaus. The achievement of winning that one was for Tiger and what it represented. It reminds us, honestly, of somebody else who's going to appear on this list a little bit later. Number 5, greatest American athletes of all time, LeBron James. Gosh, man, it's an incredible story. Influence has to count into this. Player empowerment age. LeBron not having any real scandals in a quarter century of being right in the center of American culture. The titles, the scoring record. It's the 2016 3-1 comeback, doing it for Cleveland. Cleveland, this is for you. He's in the top 5. Top 5 American athletes of all time. Number 4, Tom Brady. America loves football more than any other form of entertainment. You need to have a football player somewhere on this list, well, other than Jim Thorpe. And Tom Brady's the GOAT. He plays the most important position. He's won the most Super Bowls with 7 at that position, and he did it not just with the Patriots, he did it with the Buccaneers as well. He's the greatest. And now he's in the booth and having an impact that way. He owns a team. Tom Brady is number 4. Number 3, Babe Ruth. When you read about Babe Ruth, when you watch the Ken Burns documentary, when you hear about how famous he was the most famous athlete of the 20th century. He was maybe the most famous American in the 1920s and early 30s. The reason baseball took off the way it did, in part, was because of what the Yankees did after the 1919 scandal with the Black Sox, rescuing the sport and making it the most popular sport in American culture until football took that mantle. Babe Ruth deserves a lot of the credit for that, and what he did at the plate and how long those records stood. It's hard. You just marvel at it. You just marvel at it. Babe Ruth at number 3. Number 2 on the list. As we mentioned, number 2 and number 1 were very hard to separate. Was going back and forth on it all day. Number 2 is Michael Jordan. As a North Carolinian, that's hard to do. To put Michael Jordan number 2 on any list. He is the greatest basketball player ever. He's the most influential basketball player ever. He might be the most influential athlete, maybe, especially with how marketing took off and taking the NBA from a niche sport. Magic and Bird deserve some credit for this too, so maybe this is part of the separation between number 1 and number 2. Rather than try to knock Michael in any way, it's a compliment to say you're the second greatest American athlete of all time, and maybe you'll understand why he's at number 2 when we get to number 1. The number 1 athlete in American history is Orenthal James Simpson. Just kidding. It's Muhammad Ali. Got a smile out of Oliver there. That's good. How great would it be if we did the WWE act and just went in on it? Guys, I know he did the murders and all probably, but he was acquitted and he rushed for 2,000 yards. Did it in 14 games, and then the Heisman. Don't forget, you want to talk about influence. He created reality TV. No, it's Muhammad Ali. The difference, honestly, separating Muhammad Ali and Jordan is they both had hiatuses in their prime. The difference is Muhammad Ali did it on a moral conviction. Imagine somebody doing that today, giving up 3 years of your prime because of a moral conviction, refusing to fight in the Vietnam War. Michael Jordan just decided to play baseball, or if you're a conspiracy nut, because he was gambling. That's the difference. And becoming the heavyweight champion, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and the boxing matches that he was involved in and how he won those fights, and the rope-a-dope and all the things he said. Honestly, another reason this came down to it, do you want to be the person that does a show like this and says that Muhammad Ali isn't the greatest of all time? I don't. So Muhammad Ali comes in at number 1, greatest American athlete of all time. How'd we do? Who is the greatest American athlete ever on America 250? 310-840-4910. Tinton Day. Any omissions from the list? Any names that you would have had as a honorable mention or would have put there that we didn't include?
I mean, Jesse Owens would have been on there. You mentioned him.
Honorably?
Honorably, yes, of course. I mean, I can't think of anyone that is massively missing. I mean, I'm stunned that Phelps is as low as he is. I mean, Phelps should be higher. But
So you would have put Phelps over Serena.
I would have put Phelps at 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you had Ali at 1?
I had Ali at 1. I'd put Phelps at 2. Yeah.
Jordan 3?
Jordan or Serena. You did cultural stuff, which is fine. But if you're talking about, like, Serena did insane stuff. Phelps was amazing during the Olympics, world champ, like all these different things. So I would have put Phelps at 2. And then Serena won while pregnant, which is an insane thing.
It is. She definitely needed to be on the list. But, like, for her to be sandwiched around Tiger Woods and Michael Phelps, just being on the list. America's been around for a while now, 250 years. And the athletes we're talking about, Jim Thorpe was born in 1887, I think I said. And Babe Ruth's heyday was in the 20s. And Jackie Robinson, the 40s. Like, for you to be one of the people do these lists during the summer every year. Oh, yeah, top 10, whatever. For you to be on this list, that's saying something. And interesting order you put that in. Not sure if I disagree at all, except for just trying to, like, weigh achievement on the field versus impact at all. Yeah, Orenthal James Simpson was not really in strong consideration, for the record. Just want that out there. 310-840-4910. How did we do with the top 10 American athletes? Who's your greatest American athlete of all time? While marriage is a serious thing, the Taylor Swift-Travis Kelce wedding proved to probably fall short of the threshold of seriousness. And we'll tell you why next on Westwood One Sports Night.
While you're dodging the heat this summer, stay cool with the latest sports news. Download the Westwood One Sports app and listen anytime. Oh, and don't forget the sunscreen. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham.
My list, greatest American athletes of all time on America 250. Jackie Robinson, 10. Jim Thorpe, 9. Michael Phelps, 8. Serena Williams, 7. Tiger Woods, 6. LeBron James, 5. Tom Brady, 4. Babe Ruth, 3. Michael Jordan, 2. Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. How'd we do? 310-840-4910. Stevens in Los Angeles. Probably listening courtesy of our friends 97.1, the fan out that way. Doing a great job in the early running of that station. Steven, how'd we do?
Hey, sir, how you doing? And yes, we are 97.1 here, the fan in LA. Of course, every list, everybody can have their opinions, and we all can be wrong or right. It's just an opinion, right? It's just a list of the people that we think that might be better at it. So, and you're entitled to yours, and I think I'm entitled to mine. If you want to put we all love Tiger, an amazing player, an amazing golfer. But if a golfer has got to be on this list, with all due respect, I think that Jack Nicholson should be there and not
Jack
Tiger.
Nicklaus,
And,
I think you mean.
Yes.
Jack Nicholson would be a great
Jack
inclusion.
Yes.
He does have basketball. I mean, all those courtside appearances in L.A., I mean, Jack Nicholson does have his sports impact, too. Did Jack Nicholson ever do a sports movie? I can't think of a sports movie for Jack ever. That's great. No, but Jack Nicklaus, you're right. It wasn't consideration, but would you put Jack ahead of Tiger?
You can handle the truth, sir. He's ahead of Tiger. Think about it. He had to go against a much tougher competition than Tiger did. He had to beat the King, Arnold. He had to beat Trevino. He had to beat a lot of good players, much more than Tiger had to do to beat his. And he has much, and he won more majors than he did, Tiger. If you put Michael in front of LeBron just because of the 6th championship, then you should have him in front of Tiger just because he won more than he did, sir.
Right, I hear you. You had me at you can't handle the truth. You need me on that wall. You want me on that wall. Got that backwards.
You need
Thanks so
me
much
on
for the
this
call.
radio. You need me on this call to remind you of his greatness and what he
Thank
did
you.
against much tougher competition than he did. Tiger did.
Steven, you're the man. That's such a great call. Thank you for listening on 97.1 out in L.A. It's good to hear from you. You nearly had me crying. You can't handle the truth. It's great. Let's go to Road. He's in Virginia. Road, how do we do with our list?
Yeah, Road in Virginia. Hey, how's it going? If you came with championships, how can you leave Bill Russell off if he got 11?
Well, it isn't all about championships. I mean, Robert Horry's not on the list, and also Charles Haley's not on the list. It's not all about championship count, nor did I say that.
Brady wasn't even an athlete.
I never mentioned Michael's championships.
A lot of those guys aren't even athletes and all who you have on there.
Who's not?
Will
Who's not
Chamberlain, who was a college track athlete, and he had known there.
So who's not an athlete on the list? Who are we missing?
Brady probably couldn't outrun me.
Uh-huh. Okay. So Brady's not an athlete. Brady should not be on the list.
If you were saying greatest athlete,
I did say
you
that.
should have
yes,
some
greatest American athlete. You're saying that Tom
athletic
Brady's
ability.
not an athlete. But, achievement has to matter. Like, if
Could
the
Tom
list it
play-
sounds like you're looking for is, we're going to have Bo
yes, but
Jackson,
Bill Russell,
Jim
his
Thorpe.
achievements, it doesn't matter.
We're going to have Jim Brown. No, I didn't say it didn't matter. There are only 10. We only got room for 10 here. Like, that's what we're saying. Should we put Robert Horry on the list because he won 10? Should we put Charles Haley on the list because he has more Super Bowls than anybody else? It's a metric. And by the way, I would agree with you if my common denominator was
Also,
this
Bill
guy
Russell
won this
was
many
a track
championships.
athlete as well.
That's fine.
Also,
I mean,
Bill
Jim Brown
Russell
didn't
was a
make
track
Jim Brown
athlete
didn't
as
make the
well.
list either. Jim Brown was an excellent lacrosse player. Again, a lot of great players were left off the list. Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson, those guys weren't on the list either. If you want to do the purest definition.
Maybe here the list could be
I hear you.
probably American sportsmen, not athletes.
I got you. Well, I hear your definition. I have a different one. Appreciate the call. Let's go to David, who's in Colorado. I say it just like that because my first job out of college, D-Day, I was working in a small town of Ray, W-R-A-Y, 2,400 people. And first week on the job, had somebody call in saying, "You're saying the name of our state wrong." And I kept saying Colorado. I'm like, well, how would you say it? They said, it's Colorado. And this is why it's good to watch the show in addition to listening to it. Because if you just do this to yourself, wherever you might be watching or listening, say the word Colorado and notice how your mouth moves. Colorado. Okay, just comes out nicely. Now say Colorado. You might notice your mouth just moved, had to open like 3 times wider to get that out of your mouth. So I'm not going to say that. Colorado is what I say. I hope it doesn't offend David in Colorado. I'm not going to say Colorado except for that one time to make the point. David, it's good to have you. What do you got for us?
Well, I think you're missing one of the greatest athletes of all time is Secretariat.
D-Day, do you want to take this one? D-Day, what do you got on Secretariat?
Yeah, we're good on the horse. Thank you, though.
Why not? It's an athlete.
Dude, I got an email right before this segment. Someone saying Secretariat better be on this list. American Pharaoh, Secretariat. That's great. I love it. What part of Colorado are you calling from?
Colorado Springs.
That's a great call, David. Go out on top. George Costanza. There you go. That's great. Maybe Mark's calling from Colorado. I don't know. It says parts unknown, Mark. All right, Mark. What are we missing? How do we do on our list?
I'm on the road, so I just parts unknown it. Yeah, I think your list was good except for one glaring error. That's why I'm calling.
Tell me.
Tom Brady is not the right football player to be on there. Definitely not. To me, Tom Brady is like the greatest game manager who just hung in there and learned, and he looked bad in some early
Can I
Super
tell you
Bowls,
the three other football players that I considered on the list? It was
Can I
Brady,
tell you, I have
Lawrence
one, though, that
Taylor,
should be there.
Jim Brown, and Jerry Rice. Those were the four that I looked at.
No, really?
Those are the
Okay,
four.
here's who it is, and I'll make the case briefly. It's Joe Montana. Four Super Bowls. 0 interceptions.
Why Joe and
in those
not Brady? Why Joe and not Brady?
Let me explain. I will explain.
Tell me.
4 Super Bowls, never lost, pure winner, doesn't even know what it's like to lose a Super Bowl. No interceptions in all 4 Super Bowls combined. Played at a time when you could just totally kill the quarterback and the receivers. And just the eye test. He was an artist, and he was mobile. He could move. He was so fluid. Watch him play, and then watch Brady. Brady is like a self-made man. He grinded and hung in there. Joe Montana is a true athlete that was magic, and he was also iconic in his time. It's been, 40
Who's your
years
team?
now.
Who do you root for?
Well, why are you asking that?
Because a lot of people tend to not like.
Who
the
do
New
you
England
think
Patriots.
it is? Who do you think my team is?
Is it San Francisco? Maybe. Possibly?
It might be the San Francisco 49ers, and I might be biased, but you might have some recency bias, I think.
Are you wearing Skechers? This is what I need to know. This is important.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But
I do
Montana
appreciate
was magic,
the take, though.
man. Brady was never magic like that. He just wasn't.
I got
Watch
you.
him. Watch.
See, there were a lot of football players I considered. Yes, and I have watched a lot of video back. And this is not a recency bias list if you look at the ages of the guys that we put out there and when they played. Let's go to Chris. He's in Pennsylvania. Chris, how'd we do on our top 10 American athletes of all time list?
Your list was good, but what about Barry Bonds?
I mean, he cheated.
But the 90s, there was no...
And he lied about it.
But look what he did in Pittsburgh.
I mean, this is kind of like, I know he didn't kill a guy, but this is why, this is the part where, OJ's not on the list because, well, I don't care about your on-field achievements if you're lying about cheating and the integrity of things. Off the field, Barry Bonds ruined it for on-field Barry Bonds. That's the reason why. And they're the same person, so I don't feel bad about it.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. That's good. All right, thanks for letting me call in.
All right. But from a talent perspective, on field, you're right. Productivity, for sure. And it's a good submission in terms of talent and achievement and productivity, for sure. But that's why. Oh, why is he not in the Hall? Well, he cheated and then he lied about it. That's the part where, has he ever publicly acknowledged that he's done it yet? When are we going to get the Pete Rose like Barry Bonds HBO special where he finally admits that all these times that he was lying? Just waiting for it. Alan in Toronto, you're last up on this one. How do we do on our list? I know you know your history. How do we do on the top 10 American athletes ever?
Pete Rose. There's 32 hitters in the 3,000 hit club. There's only 2 in the 4,000 hit club. Ty Cobb at 41.91.
But he also...
Pete Rose at 24.
You're right. He didn't cheat on baseball, though. I mean, he bet on baseball. That's different. You're right. So that's different than Barry Bonds. He didn't have performance enhancers. I'm willing to listen to the Pete Rose argument more. I'm willing to listen to that. So sorry for interrupting.
He was a 5-time All-Star in 5 different positions, and 3,560 games played. That'll never be it'll never be duplicated. And the man was 162 games. 7 times he played 162 games every game. His attendance was fantastic. And those records will never ever be broken. 4,250. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is not complete without him. And he was posthumously installed just last year. So, he can get in. And I hope
posthumously eligible. Posthumously eligible. He's not in. He's posthumously eligible to get in. He has not been inducted yet.
Yeah, that's what I meant. He could get in, and eventually the writers will realize they left him out, and they shouldn't have left him out. And,
here's where I would push back on Pete Rose, though, and I appreciate the call because we're up against it now, and it's good to hear from you. The hits are undeniable. The part on defense, 5 different positions for sure. You look at the home run hitting, it's important to be a power hitter to some context if you're going to be on a list like this. His MVP season in 1973, he hit 5 home runs. How many times did he hit more than 10 home runs in a season? I'm counting 4, maybe 5 times in his career. So was he the hit king? Sure, he was. No one could take that away from him. But there are aspects of his game that you could poke holes through in a way that you can't with the Babe or even Barry Bonds. We have bets to place for this fine holiday weekend, and we'll share our Grams gambling card with you next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham.
Here's our question on the 4th of July. What is the ideal way to dress a hot dog and a hamburger? 310-840-4910. What's the ideal way? What's the way you think is most heinous? Makes you roll your eyes the most, offends you even. 310-840-4910, because not going to judge most behaviors and how you dress your hot dog or hamburger, but there is one wrong answer. There is one way that I might say something. If you were a friend, I would say something if this is the way you're dressing your hot dog or hamburger. We'll get to that in a bit. 310-840-4910 if you want him. We got bets to hand down. So let's do that in today's Graham's Gambling.
It's time for Graham's Gambling. Let's make some money.
Went 1-1 again tonight. Frankly, we deserved better. Had the 3-leg parlay work out for betting the favorites in the World Cup. Argentina needed extra time to beat Cape Verde. Egypt won in kicks against Australia. Then we had, who am I forgetting? Colombia handling its business in Kansas City against Ghana tonight. So that worked out. Even money, that bet. Had the Padres at plus 195 against the Dodgers tonight. And just like the last time I took similar odds against the Dodgers on a Friday night, it was the Orioles in the previous instance. The team I bet on had a 3-run lead in the latter innings and blew it. The Dodgers hit a grand slam with Teoscar Hernandez following a bad error at second base by Jake Cronenworth. And 4-3, the Dodgers won that baseball game tonight. So we went 1-1 in the bets. Don't regret taking it. Think our mindset was right. So this is what we're going to do. World Cup and on baseball this weekend. The round of 16 starts tomorrow. So how many bets do we have for tomorrow's action? None. We're looking to Sunday and Monday nights. We like the home teams. In soccer, home field advantage is a very real thing. And the greatest advantage you get by being at home and having these raucous, intimidating environments is how it influences officiating. Soccer is a sport where, as we saw with Flo Balogun, officiating matters so greatly and can impact a match just in split seconds with judgment calls. And it's just human nature. The crowds affect officiating. That's why Mexico is nearly unbeatable out at El Estadio Azteca. So at plus money, Mexico against England, plus 114, these odds courtesy of DraftKings, we're going to bet Mexico. We're going to bet the home team. And we're also going to bet the United States now that they are an underdog against Belgium. Belgium you could get at minus 118, the United States at minus 104. We're going to take the United States. In Seattle, that's a much more raucous atmosphere than what you're getting with respect in Santa Clara and in Los Angeles. And that's going to impact the game. And if the United States looked the part without Christian Pulisic, not nearly as worried that they're not going to have Flo Balogun. Think that they can replace him. Think this is going to be a key spot for Christian Pulisic to step up, which is why also a couple of bets on Christian Pulisic. Betting Christian Pulisic anytime goal scorer at plus 195 and a flyer, a sprinkle, if you will, Christian Pulisic first goal scorer at plus 700. Those are our World Cup bets. And then in baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays have the best record in the sport. They're playing the Houston Astros that have been okay. I think they'd be in playoff position right now, which isn't saying a lot in the American League at the moment. But the Rays, they're the one team in the American League that has more than 50 wins. Put some respect on the Rays. The fact that you pretty much get even odds with Tampa doesn't make a lot of sense. So we're going to bet Drew Rasmussen pitching against Hunter Brown. We're going to bet on the Tampa Bay Rays with that value in Houston tomorrow night on the 4th of July. So there you have it. In review, we're on Mexico against England, the United States against Belgium. Anytime goal scorer Christian Pulisic, sprinkle on first goal scorer, and we're taking Drew Rasmussen and the Tampa Bay Rays at minus 108 against the Houston Astros. That is today's Graham's Gambling. Feeling good about that. We haven't spent nearly as much time as I thought we would talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding. They are officially married. The sign outside of MSG where they got wed said so. And while it's obviously newsworthy, which is why we talk about this, you can't really take, and you shouldn't take, the Taylor Swift-Travis Kelce wedding too seriously. The only real way to clown yourself by talking about this topic is by getting worked up about it. Just take the secrecy surrounding the event leading up to today. This might be the greatest irony of it all. Don't think it's intentional. Think it's unintentionally funny. Taylor Swift had all of her guests sign NDAs before learning where the wedding was. That level of secrecy. She wouldn't speak about her wedding anywhere. Wouldn't tell anybody anything about the wedding in the name of privacy. Which is what made her choosing to have her wedding inside Madison Square Garden while going through the trouble of shutting down streets in Manhattan, gaining permits in order to do so, all the more funnier. If you want privacy, escape to some private island and have a wedding there. Get away, just you and Travis. Don't go across the street from Penn Station and shut down roads in Manhattan. But because of the location, it was just a constant drip of super famous people being spotted walking the streets of New York, dressed to the nines. And that brings us to the next point. You can't help but laugh at the absurdity of the guest list. Tell us what wedding guest you found most hilarious. Was it Tony Romo being at this wedding? Jim! Or was it Mike Vrabel and his wife making an appearance? Did Mike Vrabel make a call on the one day he missed of the draft trying to repair his marriage, saying, honey, I know you're pissed. Honey, I know you're upset. I've made it up to you. I made a call in to Travis. We're going to the Taylor Swift wedding. I know you're a fan. All right. We can figure this thing out. Just as long as Diana's not going to be there. We might have buried the lead entirely, though. Adam Sandler, per the press release put out by Taylor Swift's publicist, officiated this wedding. If you want the most glaring, obvious sign that you shouldn't be taking this seriously, it's one of the greatest comedians, most beloved comedians of our day, officiating your wedding. That's what we have here. Do you say I do? You have to laugh at that. Yes, D-Day.
I'm far more interested now in what Adam Sandler was wearing than I am in what Taylor Swift's dress looked like.
Oh. Basketball shorts?
I mean, surely somebody pulled him aside and said, hey, Sandman, we know that you have...
Hoodie?
You have a bit that you do. This ain't an award show. We paid a lot of money here. We need you to put real pants on. Maybe a tie. Doesn't have to be a thick one. It could be clip-on. But we need you to look nice if you're going to marry a billionaire and Travis Kelce.
Can we be serious for 1 second?
That was serious.
For the... Yes, that's why I want to be serious here. For the sake of their marriage, I do hope that they got married in private yesterday. I hope the real wedding was not officiated by Adam Sandler, only because marriage is a serious thing. And we don't have a lot of great role models in America. Taylor is that to a lot of women, so her having a happy, healthy marriage could encourage many people to do the same. And that's good for society in a time where people aren't really having children or getting married at the rate that would be ideal for society. So, I do hope, for the sake of their marriage, that they took it seriously enough that the real thing was private and meaningful and not officiated by the Sandman.
I bet Adam Sandler actually does a good job officiating.
Do you have wedding pet peeves?
Yes, and most of them, I'm sure, were violated in this particular wedding.
Because my biggest one is when the officiant is making inside jokes or referencing sporting events or whatever during their message, whatever it might be. That's a problem.
I just sat there with a 45-minute message where half of it was that.
Oh, second big pet peeve, wedding-wise, as somebody who's been to a lot of weddings, can we stop doing the thing where you make it really hard for people to dance? And what I mean is, one, just taking forever to get to that point, okay? Oh, wait, well, we're going to push dinner off here, and then here, and then here, and then, oh, well, people can go one at a time, and then all that, right? Like, taking forever, that's one thing. But even worse is, all right, the first thing we're going to do, D-Day, you could come out to the dance floor if you've been married for an hour. There's the couple. And then you do the thing. 1 year, 5 years,
Oh, thank God
10
you didn't
years,
go to my wedding.
20. You did this?
Oh, of course we did this.
Yeah. It all has the crescendo. Actually, it's nice when there is the crescendo of there's the person that you want to recognize who means a lot to you and your family.
See, what
That's
we
great.
did was we had certain songs. So the songs blended, so everyone that helped us or was important in the lead up, so like the 1 year, it was a different song, but it was the song, it was the wedding song of someone that was
Well, that's
important in the
cool.
thing. Yeah.
That's cool. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is where we do this whole song and dance that's dragged out, that's not nearly as thoughtful as what you're doing.
No, our thing was
that
2.5 minutes on the dot.
Exactly. Ours took 10 minutes because 1 year, 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, And we just built till we got to 60. And we're just sitting here, me and my wife, we're like, maybe eventually we'll dance. Because at that point, we weren't married. We're just sitting there like, all right, when's this going to happen? And then don't get me started on wedding games. You didn't do, what wedding games did you play? Did you play games?
I did not play games at my wedding.
Good. I'm talking about the shoe game. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, they're back to back. Hey, who is the messier one?
No, we did not do that.
Good. I would have liked your wedding, it sounds like, D-Day. I bet your music was fire.
It was. It was expensive. So I hope you would have liked it.
DJ?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to have a DJ. Good food.
I had a band. It's the only wedding I've been to with a band, and it rocked. I was very happy.
Get it? Because it's a rock band.
There you go. Big time. I do have an answer that I wanted to get to. Didn't know if we had the time for it. By the way, can't wait to watch the Taylor Swift wedding on Disney Plus because apparently Taylor performed at it. Like, that's going to happen. Like, by the end of the year.
I'm dead ass going to watch it, though. Like,
for real.
I'm going to watch it. I'll sit down.
No, I'm going to cover it like it's a football game. Like, when they put the thing out there, break it down, watch the film, crunch the tape, all 22. We're going to do it. Do the real thing. D-Day, I am a simpleton when it comes to the proper way to dress a hot dog or a burger. I have ketchup and mustard on the hot dog and the hamburger. That's a must. On both. That's it. And I'd be fine with that. In fact, I just did mustard and ketchup on the hamburgers that I cooked on the grill tonight here in North Carolina. I won't judge having extra condiments on your burger, whatever you please. I won't judge pretty much anything that you do on your hot dog and hamburger except for one thing. Ketchup only on the hot dog isn't acceptable. Unless you're 12 or under. Ketchup only is just not acceptable. I'll take nothing on the hot dog as being more acceptable than ketchup only. Can't do it. Can't do it. You can't call yourself an adult. You can't pay a mortgage and have ketchup only be your preferred dressing of a hot dog. I don't know if I'm offending you, D-Day, or Oliver. I don't know if I have an ally on this front. But any other approach will not draw personal ire from this talk host. But ketchup only on a ketchup or on a hot dog, just can't do it. Can't win with them. Can't do it.
I agree. I have taste. I have real adult taste buds. Frontal lobe fully developed.
Notice I didn't say mustard only. Because I think it's a little bit more acceptable, especially if it's like a spicy mustard. Like there are types of mustards that could be like a deli mustard. Yeah, like acceptable. See Billy writing in saying spicy mustard's the answer. So mustard only requires some details, some context, but ketchup only, there's no version. There's no version that's acceptable. Ketchup only, unless you're 12 or under. Full stop. We heard Rich Paul say and write down a lot of interesting things today. LeBron super agent. Things that are surprisingly very illuminating about what might happen next for his top client. You'll hear what he had to say and we'll react to it and say what? Next on Westwood One Sports Night. The World Cup is happening and the second round of international soccer is now, and DraftKings has you covered for every single match. The DraftKings app is now available in all 50 states, includes all markets, bringing the game straight to your fingertips wherever you are. New DraftKings customers sign up with code Westwood, spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code Westwood in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-MyReset. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, bet tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, Void in Canada. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involves risk of loss. Availability varies. Bet to get bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Trade to get $50 in prediction dollars that expire in 1 year, issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. One non-withdrawable reward redeemable. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends July 19th. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
NBA free agency officially opens on Monday. Will your team make the needed moves? We'll tell you which way the ball is bouncing. And the big names signing the big deals. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham.
Lot of sound to roll through. That's why we have Say What? Gives us the chance to tell you what people be saying and react to it before we get done around here. So let's get right to it. It's time for Say What.
They are who we thought they were.
We in here. The biggest names in sports step up to the mic.
The guy is drunk.
You have got to be smoking.
The best audio in the world of sports.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
Come after me.
I don't come with the bullshit.
It's Say What? With Josh Graham.
Let's get to the highlights of what Rich Paul had to say. LeBron James, a super agent. Do we still have the photo of, for those watching on YouTube and on X, the whiteboard? He did some work where you agree, D-Day, that there's a tier system here. There are 10 names written down as realistic locations LeBron should go. Did anyone check on Linnell since Washington wasn't included on the list? I'm here, so you can check on me now about the Bojangles Hornets not appearing on the
Sources
list,
say
despite his
that
love of
the
Bojangles.
Wizards are actually on the back of the whiteboard. You know, it flips.
Oh, they were on
school. Yeah, they were on the back. According to
Anybody
my
else in the
sources.
back or just the Wiz?
Yeah, just the Wizards. That's what I was told.
Got it. But you would agree there's a tiering system here where there's 10 names there, but there are only 5 that have their starting lineups on the board.
Yeah. I've been noticing.
Okay. And the teams that have the starting 5 written down, it's Miami, Cleveland. Interestingly, Denver and Minnesota. And who are we forgetting? Philadelphia. Philadelphia, Miami, and Cleveland are the Eastern Conference teams that are on that board. So that might surprise you when you hear Rich Paul pretty much say right here that the Knicks would have been LeBron's destination had they not won the NBA title.
I think it's difficult, right? Because the last thing you want to do is mess up something like that, right? The Knicks has a good thing going. You know, that'll be, if the Knicks hadn't have won, there would be no board.
He'd be going to the Knicks.
He'd be going to the Knicks.
Max Kellerman's voice sounded a lot like Denton Day's there. Just now realized that. Very deep. I hope you take that as a compliment.
Not the first or the last time that that comparison has been made.
Daily Row writes in, Josh could acknowledge the chat. I could. We have that comment, though, the Knicks, from Rich Paul. How do you interpret it? Do you agree with Conspiracy Josh and also what I have inherited from him, that this is essentially Rich Paul admitting that if the Knicks had a need for LeBron, which they clearly don't, they just won the title and they have their starting five intact. They just won a championship. That LeBron would want to join New York? Or how do you view what he said there?
This is the worst part. It's the best and worst part of having a podcast as an agent. It's really cool because we're looking at a whiteboard that I have no doubt where if this was not on podcast would be in an office somewhere. So we get to see a whiteboard. But what you're also doing is you're breaking down the wall that had been set up as Rich Paul being this overtly, massively powerful individual because he's publicly pandering for the champion to ask for LeBron James. So it's a very odd catch-22.
It is. That is an actual thing that is happening here. And seems pretty obvious. You don't have to read too deep in between the lines. But notice that the Knicks on that whiteboard, their starting five is not listed there. So in the tiering system, probably not in strong consideration.
I also don't know
LeBron's
if
choosing them.
So like the Dallas and the New York, I don't know if he knows their starting five because they lost Mitchell Robinson. Like I don't know if he knows who Dallas's starting five is going to be.
But notice he didn't say Kyrie. He said Masai. Dallas Masai Ujiri.
I don't know if he thinks Kyrie's going to be there.
He wrote, put it up one more time. He wrote golf and oil rather than Cooper Flagg and Kyrie Irving.
Hey, Cooper Flagg ain't going to make LeBron billions. Oil might.
Oil? That's amazing. Steph and Dre rather than the Golden State. Brad and Tatum rather than Boston. Just amazing. This really is good stuff. Really is. And there are more factors that go into these decisions than you might think. Like listen to LeBron, or not LeBron, but really LeBron. LeBron's mouthpiece, Rich Paul, talk about Cleveland, for example, and an aspect that you might not know or be thinking about.
Big X factor. Let me talk to you about Brandon Weems. Brandon Weems is basically LeBron's brother. I don't know if you knew that. Now, he worked his own way. Nobody gave him anything. He's earned to be in the front office of the Cavs. He was a grad assistant in Kentucky, Oakland, LaSalle. He did everything on his own. He worked his own way there. Now, the negative is, and this is no offense to Harden, no Garland, because he loves Garland like he loves Max.
He loves Garland. He doesn't love Harden, and he loves Maxey. And you can hear the tapping with the long pointer because he doesn't want to stand up. He's just tapping, tap, 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 the whiteboard. You know, we should have one of those on this show. Just get the long pointer.
What are they called? Like if I were to Amazon one of them, because I feel like typing in long pointer on Amazon could get you some very odd results.
No, I think it's just a pointer.
Just a pointer?
Yeah, and if you just type it in, you probably get a dog, but like a pointer stick?
A pointer stick.
A pointer stick. I don't know. It's a great question. What to write? Did you type in pointer stick?
These are very cheap.
Can make it happen. Pointer stick. The Philadelphia 76ers might be the most interesting team that's in the mix here. They did have their starting five written on the whiteboard. And here's what Rich Paul had to say about what Philly's cooking up.
Philadelphia, everything changed.
Do they have his attention as Windhorst is reporting?
How could you not have the attention when you have Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown, and Embiid?
They're missing. All they really need here is a power forward who can think the game and shoot.
That's why he's in the middle. He enhances everything.
Yeah.
He unlocks everything there.
So we're in lockstep, D-Day, that if the Sixers land LeBron after landing Jaylen Brown, they're the best team in the NBA. They should be viewed as the favorites to win the title.
They should. That would be a hilarious sequence of events, I have to be honest. LeBron landing in Philadelphia. 24 hours ago, now I guess 36 hours ago at this point, we got news that LeBron wanted to be happy. And I can't imagine publicly saying, I would like to be happy, and happiness is a factor, and then willingly moving to the city of Philadelphia, where it just zaps happiness from you. Couldn't imagine.
What, Michael Rubin's not happy?
Oh, he looks so happy in his goblin all-white party.
Yeah. LeBron James going to Philly. That would be fun. It would be interesting. I still think he goes to Cleveland. What is your bet? Where's he go?
I would imagine it's going to be Cleveland. I would put my stake in the Warriors. So I'll probably plant my flag with Golden State. But it's them or Cleveland.
I'm planting my flag. I just think LeBron's the most calculated athlete out there. And I think he goes to a place in the East. The only Western Conference teams that had their lineups written on that whiteboard were Minnesota and Denver. Whatever stock you want to put into that. Denver wouldn't shock me.
And Denver would be
because
fun.
They can win a title with LeBron there. There are 3 teams in the West that are title contenders with LeBron, or just in general. Denver. Well, Denver probably needs LeBron. Denver, San Antonio, Oklahoma City. But that's the only. So that's why the Golden State one. While it seems fun, just hard to imagine that is going to work. And I have so much respect for LeBron and his ability to chart his own path that he's going to go to a place that gives him his best shot to win. And I think that's going to be the East. And I think he fits most neatly with the Cavaliers.
Minnesota would be funny, too.
That would be
Minnesota.
Funny. It's just not going to work.
No, it'd be terrible. It would be awful.
It'd be awful.
You must watch television, but it would be awful. And then you got his ass out there in -2-degree weather.
Oh, my God. That would be a disaster if he went there. So, Cleveland is the official pick. That is what I'm saying. Denver's the one West Coast team that I think would make sense for LeBron if he were to choose it. Philly would be the best potential team as a result of him choosing it. But don't know if chemistry is going to work so well there. So Cleveland's the pick. What other sound do we have? Oh! We had a crazy match between Argentina and Cape Verde. Cape Verde scoring in extra time the goal of the tournament to knot up things with Argentina before falling 3-2. And John Strong from Fox had the call that sounded this way.
Semedo trying to reset quickly and trying to catch Argentina napping. McAllister can't make the play. Lopez Cabral! It's incredible! It's remarkable! It's almost unbelievable! It's Cape Verde for a second time tonight, tying the game!
Now that call kind of sounds like a DiGiorno's ad. It's amazing! It's incredible! It's unbelievable to think it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno! I can't believe that's not butter!
That was a pretty good ad read.
Thank you. John Strong with a strong call there. That was a really, really fun match. God, I said match. It's game. And I said boot earlier, too.
Yeah.
The British, they're getting to me.
Well, not the Brits. Easy. Just soccer. Just football culture. Not the Brits. It's 4th of July. They're not getting you. Oh, you're losing to the Brits on the 4th of July?
I am. I said boot and I said match.
Yeah, Euros
don't say that in America.
Yeah, Italians do. French.
Okay, yeah. Fine. The Euros
You can't
are
lose to
getting
the British on the 4th of July. It's legal.
No.
You're not allowed to.
No. And I just bet against England on 4th of July weekend in the States. In Mexico. El Estadio Azteca. We're taking Mexico to win that match. So there you go. That's been Say What for this week or for tonight. Have you looked at the start of the round of 16 slate tomorrow? Don't know what you have planned for your 4th of July, D-Day. But on the 4th, Canada going to be in action facing Morocco. Canada, because they didn't perform so well in their group, not at home. They're in Houston. But they did catch the break of all breaks that Morocco upset the Netherlands. So this is a little bit winnable for Canada. Now, I think Morocco is really good. Morocco's played some tough competition and played it really well. So I think Morocco will win the match, but we'll see with Canada. Paraguay, France.
Good luck.
T's and P's. T's and P's. Paraguay, congrats. You figured out a way to get through Germany. Congrats. And also congrats to my friends who were able to access their pool again in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where Germany was at the last 2 months. But France and Morocco, probably the plays tomorrow. But I think Canada and Morocco could be a good match.
I would not play France because I was going to. Have you seen the number?
No, I'm not. It's like what? I'm going to guess. Minus 600?
It's minus 1,800 on DraftKings.
Oh.
France is not going to lose. They're not going to lose.
Well, then again, I think that's the same number as the Cape Verde match. So, I don't know.
Can lightning strike twice?
So that's what we've got there. And we got a bunch of mid-baseball games that aren't nationally televised because Major League Baseball doesn't know what it's doing when it comes to the 4th of July and what they should be doing. D-Day, what do we have to put this show to bed?
We have a potential setup for one of the most hilarious offsides graphics that you will ever see, and I'll share that with you next.
Jaylen Brown is headed to the city of brotherly love. The Celtics are trading the former Finals MVP to the Sixers for Paul George and a bundle of draft picks. Does the addition of Brown make Philly a legit challenger to New York in the East? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Westwood One Sports Night. Here's Josh Graham.
The Taylor Swift posts are killing me. This one more than any. I am at Taylor Swift's wedding right now, and it's a cash bar. You hear that, D-Day? The reason why she wanted NDAs and didn't want anybody to have their phones is so she's not exposed for being cheap. Trying to save a buck, D-Day.
Well, I mean, historically, billionaires do tend to cut corners. It's what makes them
Taylor
billionaires.
Swift. She's drawing the line. I do wonder if there were, like, concession stands. Like, if the concession workers were there and those attending the wedding had to pay what the normal Joes who go to MSG to watch basketball have to pay. Hopefully, I think 1,000 guests were at the wedding, so no nosebleed seats for anybody. Get to
That
be
depends
down
how big
low.
the castle was.
Good point. And apparently it was a purple castle. That was the color. Someone explain, is there like some Taylor Swift thing I'm missing why the Empire State Building was blue? Like why blue was a thing? I don't know.
Probably my
But
favorite color.
congrats to Taylor, but not the castle though. The castle's not blue. Congrats to Taylor and Travis. It is the 4th of July. And we need to put this show to bed. And to help us do that, here's Denton Day.
Apparently, Taylor Swift's favorite color is purple. So the Empire State Building might have legitimately just messed it up. which I think is hilarious. That's not what we're putting the show to bed with, but that is just a continuation of our previous thought. What we're instead putting the show to bed with, Josh, is the penises of the England international team.
Penises?
Correct. You think that's a joke, and I wish it was, but it is not. Because they are playing against Mexico in Mexico City at elevation, they have been given the okay to utilize as a way only to deal with elevation. They can utilize Viagra, which apparently, allegedly, helps with elevation, dizziness, fatigue. It could potentially lead to one of the most hilarious, but also network panicking offsides that the sport has ever seen.
Oh, yeah. So where you get the graphic with the AI.
Where you get the
figure
graphic
of it.
and, hey, he's a little offsides. What makes him offsides? Oh, wait, that's not his cup.
And then you got in a thick English accent. But my member wasn't involved in the play. It wasn't involved in the play. My foot.
I mean, it gives the term header a whole new meaning.
See, that's the possibility. Now, here's the unfortunate reality. We've now seen twice today, think of the Egypt match and also in the Argentina match, where somebody gets drilled in that area and goes down. Now, soccer players don't deserve the benefit of the doubt when it comes to flopping. They don't. But those were two instances where it's like, yep, it's warranted that guy's down. And
England's going to be up.
And if somebody's, I got to be careful. What words can I say?
Genitals?
I was going to say, can I
Gonads?
say an expression that rhymes with ticked off? Or ticked up in this context?
You can say
No?
erect.
Okay, yeah.
That's a medical term, I think.
Someone was, yeah. If someone is a wrecked, when they get wrecked, that doesn't seem great.
I do wonder,
Get
how
hit.
that actually works, though. Like, what is the medical process of taking Viagra to deal with the altitude, but also making sure that you're not running around hampered by an erect penis?
Erect? Uh-huh. I don't know.
Do we have a doctor that just happens to be awake at this time of the night that can give us the medical lowdown of playing sports on Viagra?
Yeah, and that's not performance enhancing at all?
I mean, it is in
Well, it is in
certain
one
ways.
way. Hey, what up?
I mean, what's the Tinder situation like in Mexico?
What up, Travis Kelce? Listening this late hour, what you doing? What's happening? He's like, I could play for the English national team right now. Ready to go. D-Day. Fire it up. That's the second time that's happened during the show tonight. I don't have a good segue away from this, except to say that you should be subscribed to the YouTube channel and the podcast feed so you can see us, because that's it, man. Sex sells. That's why we're, picking
Sex
up
symbol
the...
Josh Graham.
That's it. These glasses. It's happening. Picking up 5,000 subscribers. Not 5,000, 2,000 in less than 5 months. Doing video here. And that number's only going to continue to climb. And it's thanks to you guys. And me being a sex symbol. So make sure. Like, comment, subscribe, all of these things. How are you spending your 4th?
If Team USA wins, never mind. I'll be grilling, probably. It's hot.
Grilling
it's
what?
like
Grilling what?
unseasonably hot in the D.C. area. So I don't know that I want to stand outside with a real field heat of 120 in front of a grill. So we'll figure that out. But we got dogs. We got brats.
Dogs and brats. I have burgers. I have that. And got some leftovers that I'm probably going to eat. That's probably what I'm going to do. And eat the Lord's chicken, which I think is open for some hours tomorrow. Chick-fil-A. Probably. That's how I'm going to spend my 4th. And host the show, by the way, from 4 to 7 p.m. that you definitely should be listening to. Like when you're out at the pool, again, sex symbol. Just fire it up. It'd be so great. Hey, turn down the Lil Baby and turn on that Josh Graham. Get the people going at the pool on the 4th. God bless this great country. This has been Westwood One Sports Night.
This is Westwood One Sports.